Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another evening of D&D. We are Not Great RPG, and we're here once again for the City of Oshuamp. This is session 2 that I'm sitting next to DJ. He is still alive, so that's good.
DJ?
Yeah. Oh, let me read Mike's post here.
Thank you.
Oh, God damn it!
I'm upset.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you very much for that one. So we're back, and we're going to go around the table real quick, introduce ourselves, and have a brief recap and pick up where we left off last time. As always, I am Don, and I will be playing Ether Revia, the Grave Domain Cleric, tonight. And just to be clear, elevator is 100% real.
It checks out.
DJ?
DJ, stop kissing. Kiss of opportunity.
Oh, fuck. Alright,
I can't help it.
So you're not used to being second in
No,
line?
not. I am,
I am.
T-Ugrin, and I play
Nezertle.
Nezertle.
And you heard it
Dessert.
here. No contest from DJ on my previous statement.
It's confirmed.
Okay.
I play dessert.
I'm Paul. I play Felix Gray, mushroom cooker beginner. I don't know how to say apprentice. I don't
Amateur chef.
yeah, but specifically, we're gonna work with mushrooms. You know.
Alright.
Amateur fungus?
Yeah, sure.
Amateur fun guy.
Shut up.
I don't have any puns. I'm Glenn, and I play the flower boy Vorst.
Flower boy? Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, I'm Chell. I play Thario.
Damn.
I got nothing.
Going way faster than I expected you to. I had popcorn in my mouth. I'm Sarah, and I play Ritora.
I'm John. I am the Dungeon Master for the City of Oshuamp. Last time we were here, it was the 100th episode, so we celebrated by me bringing back to life a series of characters that I can now kill once again in the future for my own satisfaction.
Just fodder for
Yeah,
our
right?
hearts.
Like, I have to pick the ones that you love most. To just, stab them.
Make it hurt. All
Yeah.
over again.
Nivar is still going strong.
And still gay.
Married to another person.
Married to another woman. It doesn't matter that you're younger now.
You didn't love me when I was a man. Will you love me as a mushroom?
I'm a pretty fun guy. There it is.
That's what gay women like, right? Mushrooms.
So I mean, we, had Ritora create a tree inside of the grotto. We touched the tree teleported her to a weird demi-plane of illusory magics that showed to her a scene from time long ago. She, lost 69 years of her life. Nice.
Nice.
But,
It's fine.
came back
nice.
and we brought back several individuals from beyond the grave. We hung out with T-Urtle because he came back as a little baby sea turtle, and he's like, "Hey, Ether, fucking help me out of the water," and
Put me in a hole.
yeah, put me in a hole this way.
Bury
to grow
me
again.
like a seed.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, in terms of a very brief recap, the concluding point for what we were discussing at the last juncture of our episode last week was talking about the notion that there is indeed a tree of life and a tree of death. They serve in harmony to attempt to balance the world here. That the tree of life, as we have now come to know it from what Sarah has seen and from T.U.Urtle's descriptions and discourse surrounding it, is in the area known as Faint Isleason, the Killing Fields, that it was actually held within a grove that is in a transitory liminal demiplane that has a series of guardians that protect it. The tree is brought back annually for a purpose to cleanse the world once again. It can only be brought back by the guardians of this grove, and that this cleansing of the world, as the tree consumed wickedness from within, or from without into itself, was called the Esper Feast. So, we're beginning here with T.U.Urtle saying, that very much so, that ritual is specifically called the Esper Feast.
You are not the first person that has said the words Esper Feast to us, though the word last was put in front of it.
Last?
Yes.
I mean, there's supposed to be one every year.
Yes. This person was Arthur Hartwood, but we believe that he was possessed or taken control by some other entity at the time.
That's terrible.
Yes.
He's still in your palm. Like he's still sloshing around ever so slightly. We haven't buried him yet for him to grow.
Yeah.
Bless you. Bless you. Bless
No.
We're gonna take a break.
you. Fuck this.
Back in 30 minutes.
We'll be back when Shell's done.
Are you done?
Yes, that's terrible.
Who performs this ceremony?
The bringing the tree back?
Yes,
Not me.
that makes sense.
There were people that lived there.
Oh, all right. What would happen if the tree could not be brought back because the city is destroyed?
I would think that the world would become contaminated.
It is. That
That explains
Oh,
a lot.
An abundance of evil would have collected in the soils around it, and it would have festered outwards.
Oh dear.
Oh no.
That is
Anybody-
what
anybody
we
make a
have heard happen.
checklist?
So.
Making a lot of sense there.
Do we know when that started? Did they
When what started?
when the trees in the north started becoming bad trees? I know-
Melithel and Melusy would have dictated to you that throughout their times exploring that it would have been an infrequent thing when their exploration began, some 2,000 approximate years ago, and that it has absolutely worsened over the course of the 2,000 years.
Mm-hmm.
So not a definitive start date, just
and
in
not,
terms
not
of
recently.
yeah, but just in terms of providing at least one anecdotal frame of reference for a point in the timeline. At the minimum, 2,000 years ago.
Oh God. We had other reasons to want to visit Alglatha. I would say that this is probably another.
Those are the people that did it, by the way.
the people of Alglatha.
They're
Special people there.
did the tree thing.
Yes.
Was it like a specific type of special person there, or just...
I don't really know. I didn't,
I can't. You sound like the Candy King. Now.
I know.
What are you doing?
You keep falling into
I'm
Buja.
falling into Buja. So many of the voices overlap.
I was trying not to giggle too hard.
Baby? Where is it? We gotta find it.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right in between.
It's adjacent. We gotta...
It's Buja, but slower.
It's higher up too. Buja,
Yeah.
but a little higher.
And slower.
Buja? Where is it? Hold on. I think we're getting there.
Over there.
We're here. We've arrived. It's Goofy. Once again. From beyond the grave.
I'm going through puberty.
Forgive me, I was a little boy.
I guess he's young now, so he could.
voices get higher as
I will rise like a good loaf of bread. Oh yeah, it was the people of Alglatha. Now that I found it, I feel I can speak more consistently within my voice. The special people in Alglatha, some kind of grove guardians.
Oh.
Special druids of sorts, I would think. Because they worked with the trees. Well, particularly that tree, obviously, but they did work with other trees in the area, have to make sure the whole environment is still safe and provides a sufficient sanctuary for the tree.
Last you were in Alglatha, was the city easily accessible? Could you just walk there, or?
Me? Yes. I mean, I was welcome in most parts, but it was still, a big castle.
It wasn't hidden or anything.
Oh, no.
Just the tree.
Yes.
So we should at the very least find ruins there.
Yes.
Ruins?
As far as we're aware, the city is not there anymore.
That's bad.
Yes. From our friends, we heard about a disease of some sort of corruption spreading in the trees in that area.
Malignancies can grow.
If the Tree of Life has not returned in several hundred years, then that would make sense. I don't know the history of this area. Does anyone know how long the city's been gone? What happened?
Which city?
Alglatha.
Not exactly.
Yeah, the only person we know of that would have been by there recently was, and I'll look over at Rhirda. He said he only saw some dead trees and some things shambling around in the fog.
Swamp monsters.
Yeah.
Wanted to eat them. They didn't have any meat. They were just bones. Kind of wanted to gnaw on them, but they were bad bones. Not good bones.
Someone gave us a time frame, right?
Malithel and Malice again dictated that like they fled 2,000 years ago, roughly.
And
when
it
they
was there.
Yeah, when they fled, it was still in the height of the era of Alglatha, so like sometime after that.
Okay.
The other issue is that within Felfarthen, when we talked to Dorgrim knew that Alglatha had fallen by then.
Okay.
And that was a few hundred years
And that was
ago.
like 300 to 350 years ago that Felfarthen had its own cataclysmic occurrence. Adelstan also, when he dictated being from the woods in the north around 800 years ago, didn't know of Alglatha. So like 2,000 years ago to 8,000 years ago, sometime within that 1,200 approximate years, something occurred with Alglatha.
Okay.
The other, I guess there's also another frame of reference that would be easily knowable. The mines are supposedly in the area where Alglatha sank.
Oh, okay.
Like, the mines have been something that famously for Oshuamp people who live here, you would know they've been explored for over 1,000 years. So,
And they would know that it's where Alglatha was.
yes.
Ew.
I'm assuming, like Iris, who's well studied and like is familiar with the area, would she have told us any? I know there was a point where she kind of info dumped a bunch of stuff on us, and I don't
That
remember
was like
exactly.
80 episodes
Yeah, it was
ago,
so
yeah.
long ago.
Mhm.
I think that was before we even met.
It's before Malithel and Malice.
Yeah.
Like, she would have told you that it's not really known what happened.
Just that it used to be there and now
Used to be there, yeah. So, like...
much like the other cities in this area. They
Yeah,
just kind of vanished.
in terms of trying to fairly disseminate information, like, part of the issue is that Oshuamp previously was sacked and it wasn't here. You guys have been concentrated in Oshuamp as a city, so your historical knowledge is going to be based on the 1,000 years since Oshuamp's reconstruction, since Ostador reclaimed it. So, like, you have that 1,000-year gap, genuinely intentionally, because a lot of other shit happened that this area was not present for to be able to gather, collect, and then disseminate that information.
Right.
So, like, you have a 1,000-year gap of knowledge.
Malithel also stated that both Oshuamp and Alglatha had lost their stars.
Yep.
Are there other trees?
There's trees up on the surface.
Yep,
Lots of trees.
I didn't fully express what I was actually trying to ask. Are there other trees similar to the Tree of Life and the Tree of Death, or is it just the two that balance each other out?
What would be a third tree?
I mean, there's 9 schools of magic. I wasn't sure if they were connected in some way.
Not that I know of, no. But again, my duty was concentrated on the idea of the Tree of Death. It's good to have you back, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing me back.
It was the mushrooms. And the tree. The tree decided that your death had been paid.
Welcome back to you as well.
Oh, thank you.
Your little turtley self.
I do like being this size. It's a lot easier to get around when you got a human being that's going to carry you. I hope you never put me down, Ether.
Well, you did say that we needed to bury you so that we...
Oh, that is true. I do need a good old dirt nap.
Yes.
How
I feel
long?
like you just took
Mood.
one.
That was a water nap. I was inside a lily pad. It's very peaceful and sweet.
This is why I like to eat Rtle. This guy gets it.
Mm-hmm.
How
Naps are
long?
wonderful. You
How
should do
long?
it more frequently.
How long do you need to be buried for?
To like grow back to my full size?
Sure.
I mean, adulthood and maturation for me usually takes a few decades.
All right.
So I'm gonna be pretty tired for a while. Just a little turtle yawning. Little top hat just jiggles on his head.
Oh my goodness.
Does he have like little mushrooms? Like,
Yeah,
on
like
his-
the tiniest little fucking like points. Of,
like the little ones that grow
toadstone.
off of like moss.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You alright?
Forgot that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You seem like you were very baffled.
I kind of. How did I
Okay.
forget that? Yeah.
Oh, also, if y'all are still looking for that way out, it's to the east and then a little bit north. You'll find a big old hole in the ground and some vines you can climb. Don't mind the screeching.
From the vines?
Yes, and the other fungal life in the area, it's just them calling out of loneliness. But I go over and visit.
Do they do this often?
Oh yes, on the regular, they shriek at the first sign of the sun.
Why?
They hate it. Just like me.
So the mushrooms don't like the sun.
They like the dark.
Well, they are mushrooms.
Yeah.
Have they always been screaming?
Well, as long as I've known them.
Okay.
Have you considered they just scream at you?
Oh no, I can hear them echoing in the mornings.
Like a rooster.
Pretty much, yeah, they do alert me that the sun has risen and it's time for bed. This is how I get by on the regular.
I think we should bury this turtle in his hole.
Is that a euphemism, sir?
Hear them screaming.
No.
That's what they said.
Are you sure?
Do you want it to be a euphemism?
See little turtly blushy cheeks. I mean, no, not if you don't. I'll get bigger someday, you know.
He's a grower.
Don't let my current size dictate to you anything about what I will be.
Not about the size of the shell, DJ.
I will hopefully be dead before.
I will hopefully.
That's a very hurtful thing to say.
Not because I don't want to, but because I don't want to live that long.
Do you need
decades.
Yeah.
Do you need to talk about that?
20 years.
That's
be-
right.
he'd be- I hope I'm
he'd
dead
be
by
his
then.
age again.
Have you seen your reflection?
Oh, I keep forgetting I'm young.
Yes.
Mhm. You don't want to see 40?
Did it once.
40.
Should
Did
we
once
take
already.
an intermission and talk? Is everything all right at home?
I got to 40 once. It wasn't great. Not doing it again.
I'd say definitively no.
Dad's dead.
Wait, Nestor or DJ?
Oh my god.
I think we should bury the turtle in his hole.
I see you deflecting from my question. Are you all right?
Quicker, Ether.
Bury it, bury it.
Yes, I'm okay. I'm fine.
was-
I forget that I'm young. That's all. I'm
It
used to
is
being old.
It is a new experience for you, I
I
understand.
spend a solid 20 years being old. Now I'm young
You
again.
get old at 30?
Are you moving at all?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I mystic hand him out of Ether's hand? Just
Yeah, I
lift
mean,
him
you're
up?
not holding him tightly.
No, I just.
Yeah, so like you got him like cupped within your palm. Yeah, you would just, and you would just see something like, you know, his little flippery feet just start dangling as he gets elevated by the ship. Whoa, dear! Felix, I didn't know you were so forward. I see a touch of jealousy's got this one here.
I'm just
He's green
gonna
with
Your
start
hands on my
walking
man.
over. I'm gonna start walking over to his shack with him.
You see the children just like,
And he's flying.
yeah, and he's fucking flying. He's magic.
Is he just like,
Yeah, he's just swimming through the air. Look at me, children.
like when you hold like a puppy over
Yeah, over
water?
the water. Their feet like flail.
I feel like me too. I'm also like, he's little.
When I said the children, I included you.
So you don't want
Look at how tiny his head is. It makes no sense that we would make him that small.
I mean,
Yeah,
he
just
floats over and
bringing him over.
yeah, I mean, you know, you get over to the shack and he just looks down at the hole. I mean, I'm ready to take a nap. I don't mean to keep y'all if you got things you need to do.
We do need to get to the surface.
I understand. I look forward to seeing you all again in roughly 30 to 60 years.
Do you have any parting words of wisdom?
That's a tough question, especially with the perils that face y'all ahead. I would say that no matter what shadow or light seeks to deter you from your task, you must stay true to the goals ahead.
All right.
If we
Just gives you a little turtly smile as you like lower.
Yes. Yep. Okay.
I will rise again.
Shadow or light? I say as I lower him.
Don't read into that too much.
if we call to you, will you be able to answer if you're sleeping?
Call me. What?
Yeah, Iris does this thing where she like holds her hands up.
Oh, sanding.
Yeah.
The magical means.
Yeah.
I mean, you might see into my dreams a little bit and get a bit of my stream of consciousness while I'm unconscious, so don't mind if the telephone call picks up a few additional words before I respond. Like, that's just me snoring. I promise.
Good
Thank-
to know.
Thank you for everything, friend.
No problem. I mean, it's just my duty here in, you know, this cave, this dark, dank, lonely cave. Keep the mushrooms safe, keep the waters holy, watch over that dang dare tree over in the water, and, you know, wait for y'all to arrive. Now you're here.
You were waiting for us to arrive?
Well, yeah, I've seen you hundreds of times.
What?
Well, what does that mean?
I've witnessed you with my peepers. I don't have my glasses on because I'm a baby, but he fake adjusts the area where the edges of his glasses frames would be.
But we have never seen you before.
Well, I'm in the river.
Oh,
When you're sending the people on down, I'm what done carries them up the river. You're just lowering them onto my shell. And then I give a good old slow swim and talk to them about their lives and do my best to confer the same wisdom that you've shared through your experiences with them. You're a very wise man, Ether. I hear your voice in my sleep.
thank you.
Like a very sweet lullaby-like voice.
I try my best.
Could you shove some dirt on me?
Yes.
And you just start pushing dirt over
So
his shelf.
soon.
Goodbye.
Good night.
Good night.
Good
Are
night.
you
Oh yeah, I
volunteering
mean,
to play?
good night. I mean, I'm not dying again. This is just, you know, a very long, restful slumber.
See you in 30 to 60 years.
Ideally, you'll still be around. We can talk about things then.
30 maybe, 60 no.
Oh dear. I guess I'll do my best to grow fast this time. Extra fast for you.
Jesus Christ.
It's just like another pile of dirt. It's
Yeah, just more dirt.
You just see just the smile and the twinkling eyes behind all the
Faster,
like
easier.
soil and moss and everything. My eyes are always open.
I'm just humming Boys to Men, hard to say goodbye.
Yeah.
So hard to say goodbye.
Nice, sweet prince.
Right? Yeah, you just hear,
turtle.
you know, his voice kind of slowly fade out as the dirt encases him, and you guys bury T. Rtle alive. So, I mean,
Just the pumpkin again. Please help me.
Where's my oxygen trough?
Why am I here?
Sarah.
The fucking pumpkin.
I'm still upset you never talked to Reggie. Reggie knew so much.
You're right, Reggie died though.
Yeah.
I know.
Reggie will be back.
A,
Who was right?
a demon
One of the
came.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
There was an inferno.
There's a turn.
you guys are standing here in T. Rtle's shack. There's a shitload of kids and other adults outside.
We should probably finish breakfast and then head out. We've delayed here quite a bit.
Yes.
That poor man just sitting by them trees waiting for us.
He slept for quite a long time, I think. He did say that he would wake up frequently and beat goblins to death. I imagine that time is something that does not faze him.
Yeah,
has
but he
lived
didn't have
for-
something to wait for before, you know? He was just sort of sleeping to get by. Now he's got something he's looking forward to.
I think he was hoping his people would come back before. At least this time,
His people are coming back.
yes.
Alright, let's pack the wagon, get the kids all saddled in, let's get going.
Is that a euphemism?
Packing a wagon. You just had to see me.
You just hear
pick up T. Rtle's
Yeah, no, I'll say you guys, spend an hour or so roughly breaking down camp with all the other people, and once again take positions up. I'm assuming you guys intend to be the vanguard and get back to exploring.
Does Christian have any weapons with him on his cart?
Yeah, he would absolutely have, some basic equipment and things
Yeah.
like that for whatever you're looking for.
I
I was
would-
looking to outfit Rhirda.
Yeah, pretty much. I just want to give him a weapon.
Okay. Yeah. He would absolutely go over and just, pick an enormous fucking, great axe up and just hold it up. Yeah. Yeah! I'm gonna cut shit in half.
No, he's measuring.
Then it should be bigger. Feels heavier without all that demon blood coursing in my veins.
I guess you gotta get better at swinging it then.
Just the headlit body of it.
I would have also left my one hand axe with the Earth Ganassi boy.
Yeah, well, okay.
Yep.
No, he thanks you.
Alright.
I think,
What else?
time to go.
Yeah,
Time to leave.
let's go.
T. Rtle told us where an exit is.
Yeah.
Going that way.
Yeah.
Wait, are we climbing vines?
Screaming vines.
Screaming vines. After we head east and then a little bit north.
We have to
Our
figure
heading?
out how to get the cart up.
How dark does the direction boy? It gets dark almost immediately leaving the area.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely, because there's the little bit of ambient light from the bioluminescence of the mushrooms in the grotto.
Alright, upon leaving, I'll go ahead and pop my eyes of the night on two people who are worthy of it. Mr. Big Pee-Pee gets it. Congratulations. You have 300-foot dark vision.
Thank you.
And I'll give it to Mr. Scared of the Dark.
That's so mean.
I mean,
But thank you.
I'll take it away.
No, it's
Is
fine.
that
I'll
right?
take it. I'll take it.
300-foot dark vision now.
Yeah, plus 10 feet. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming once again, like I said, you guys are taking the vanguard back up.
Yes.
Yep.
Which way we going? Direction boy.
East.
East.
Yeah.
Which way is east?
I'll point.
Yep. He points east.
I'm just gonna start walking.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you guys would have to take, a right-hand turn outside of the alcove that has his shack. Take another right-hand turn, which brings you going eastward. Just to be blunt, you guys are very much in the concluding area of this section with getting to the hole. It is not morning, so there's no sound coming up ahead. In terms of the topography of the environment around you, there's no real drastic changes. You go east for roughly half a mile, and then you take a northward ramp that slightly starts to ascend. You hit a point, once again, after about 2.5 to 3 miles worth of journeying north by northeast. The ramp is like a slow angle. You guys absolutely find a concluding point where, again, despite the vines not shrieking, you, especially with the nose, with the passive perception for being able to confer that there is a change in the environment around you, you would smell moisture, and you would smell the typical residual air for what you know from the fell wood of the pine trees up ahead as it kind of wafts down. We get to the area after about 2 to 3 hours worth of walking. At the bottom of this massive chasm-like opening in the ceiling of the cavern here, it's a hole maybe 20 to 25 feet in diameter, so it's pretty large. It's not massive, but again, for it being a hole in the fucking ground, it's large. It's not uniform, so it is not homogeneous as a clear sphere. It has the fractal patterns of jagged edges, clearly indicating that something had either struck or had fallen through here. At the bottom, for the area beneath the hole itself, you would see that there is a small sunken depression and a small aquifer that would have comparable fungal and swamp-like vegetation growing, similar to the grotto. It is not bioluminescent, so the toadstools would look the same shape, same color, but no bioluminescence glowing off from them. You would see around the edges of the natural cave-like formations, you would see moss, kind of similar to what we have over the signage here. And then you would see, you guys would immediately recognize it as being similar vines to Widow's Wail. Yeah, the thick, dark green, black spotted, vines that stretch down.
That's why they shriek.
Yeah, he says they just shriek,
But they wail.
Yeah, they're wailing. Yeah. So, there's 5 to 6 vines that look as though they go almost up to the surface level. They don't go literally up to the surface. They would conclude a few feet, because you've got 300 feet of dark vision. You'd be able to see from where you are standing at ground level up to the precipice to break into the surface is roughly about a 200-foot climb. So, it's not an insignificant climb, even though we've been consistently going slightly upwards for the last 2 hours. It's still a pretty fucking reasonable climb.
Yeah, and you said the Widow's Wail's growing up towards the hole and then concluding just before the precipice.
So, sorry. I'm going to use the wall behind me.
Mm-hmm.
If this is surface, it looks like it's breaking out maybe 3 to 4 feet below the surface and growing downwards. Okay. Yes. Where it dangles slightly over the area of the aquifer with the swamp.
I was just making sure we weren't walking through scary area of swamp before actually getting to the wall covered in stuff.
Does anyone have any rope?
Probably.
Yes.
I have 150 feet of rope.
I have 50 feet of rope.
And I have a crossbow. Could shoot a rope at the top and climb that rather than...
I can
What happens-
climb the wall and carry it up.
What happens when you touch the Widow's Wail? Does it do anything?
Have I touched the wood as well?
Have you touched the Widow's Wail
I
before?
don't think intentionally.
I don't think we've touched it. No, I
You
think-
guys have accidentally come into contact with it. Nothing has happened immediately. I will also say, again, because it's been a billion episodes, that there was a point very early on in the campaign where Luna, while still inside of Growlers, did take one of the small, wispy, fragmented pieces of Widow's Wail and, dissolve it into a drink and then drink it. And indicating that, in small doses, it has medicinal properties to it.
Yeah, wasn't it a component in the
In the
ailment?
ailment, yes.
Oh, was it?
Yes.
It's so long, my god.
Yeah, like, again, genuinely, that's fucking like 2.5 years ago, so that's why I'm happy to just, give the reminder.
I do also remember at one point us trying to like cover our mouths so as to not breathe it in. I feel like that happened at one point too.
Yes, that was when we burnt, or cut open and then burnt the bear. We covered up there.
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, I can also climb it for whatever reason. Poisonous plants don't seem to affect me like it does you guys. I'm not opposed to climbing it as well and helping to bring people up.
Yeah, I'll give you 50 feet of rope.
I'm gonna check the tensile strength of them stuck to the wall.
Sure.
And see how stuck they are in there.
Yeah, I mean, you
grab
go,
it.
it looks like it's kind of
Wearing
grown into
gloves.
some of, like, the grooves of the area, because, like, again, it's a circle that drops down from the opening, but there's continuous cavern wall on, like, you guys have turned into, like, what would look like a fucking spoon opening. This is the area of, if you look up, directly the hole. So the widow's wail would be growing around the edges here. In the middle is where there's the aquifer, because water fucking drips down because it's open. There's rain can absolutely get down here. So there's a small concentrated center where there's the swamp life and shit like that. The widow's wail is growing in the, like, 5 different spots around the edges of the cavern here contained.
How you said this opening it's not small.
Correct.
right?
It's like 25 feet in diameter, so fully across, roughly 25 feet.
Would I guess I'll just give you this to.
Sure.
Would that be possible? This is large.
Oh, yeah, you fit through that.
Okay.
Large is just a 10 by 10 space.
Okay. I can turn into a spider. A really
Again?
a big one.
How large?
I might be able to carry some of the equipment up.
All right.
Oh, shit.
I also have a block and tackle. We can put that up top. We can use that to hoist the rest of it.
Yeah, like the cart and everything.
If we'll need the cart once we get up.
Yes.
I don't think we can afford to leave it down here.
Yes. I think if we hoist the cart separately and you carry the equipment, that will be easiest. In case the cart tips over, the equipment will fall.
Mm-hmm.
It is best to hoist the cart by itself with that.
So I would have tied off 150 feet of rope to a crossbow bolt.
Cool.
Shot it up at the ceiling.
Great. What's the distance for the crossbow?
It was an amount 100 to 400.
Yeah, no, then absolutely. I mean, I'm going to ask you to make an attack roll because it's between the 100 and 400 range. It's a disadvantage.
Okay.
Just shoots out the hole.
Fuck. That's an 8.
Yeah, I mean, just in terms of, like, it will take you time. You're not going to get it on the first shot.
Right.
Like, it takes you several attempts just at, like, attempting to recognize the angle for, like, you're trying to get it out into the ground or just embedded into the side of the chasm as it sinks.
Like close to the top and the side.
Yeah, okay, so that's the reason for why it takes a couple shots. Like, a few of them hit, but, like, only, they hit but, like, 50 feet from the height, and you're like, that's not enough. Like, I'm trying to actively get closer.
Right.
So, I mean, I'll say that takes you about 10 minutes or so to take a dozen or so shots.
Sure.
But, like, it is an incredibly difficult thing. You're trying to pinpoint accuracy. I'll say at the conclusion of that 10 minutes, you, sink it into the cavernous wall. You see, the rubble break down, latches. You give a good firm, like, pull. It feels like there's good tensile strength here, and feel like you got it. And roughly 5 or so feet from the height.
Cool.
Cool.
Start climbing my rope.
Yeah, I would say during that time frame, like, you're taking equipment.
Yeah, I'm going to transform into a giant spider. It's a large creature.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a +2 to strength as the spider.
Okay.
So whatever equipment I can in one trip just pick up and
climb with. Okay.
with.
Sure.
I would try to avoid the widow's wail if I could.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like it covers the entirety of the cavernous wall. Like, it's a pretty big circumference going around. You know, and again, like, the vines are maybe that thick. So, like, there's ample, actual, natural cavernous regions. Okay. With a +2 strength score, I mean, it's not like you've got anything for your own weight as a spider that's so massive. I'll say that, like, you're
I have
capable.
a climbing speed of 30 feet, so if I need to take multiple trips to get stuff.
Yeah, I mean, there's a fair amount of equipment and adventuring gear, clothing, and stuff like that. It would probably take you, if you're the only person doing all the equipment, probably take you like half an hour to 45 minutes to like keep coming up and down, like we're handing the spider. Because like there's also things that you're not feasibly going to be able to carry.
Yeah.
You can't carry like a suit of chainmail. It's bigger than you are as a spider. So yeah, I would say you'd be, after 30 minutes or so, capable of carrying up, 75% or so of the equipment for what is manageable for you.
You said you have the tools, right? Where
Yeah,
you could- so-
I thought that's what we were gonna do, is set up a block and like so we could hoist most of the stuff up using that.
Oh, I thought we
can
were
do both.
hoisting the.
Yeah, I mean, we can absolutely do
Yeah.
both. We can do the block and tackle to pull up the wagon.
Sure.
And then the pieces of equipment that she can't carry as
that's
a
right,
spider,
yeah.
we
Yeah.
can secure with the loose, rope that we have as surplus.
Sure, that works.
So, yeah. Anybody else have any, obviously this is going to be successful. It's just going to take an amount of time. And if anybody has additional ideas for how to manage this, it can expedite the time.
I want to.
While he's shooting his crossbow, I would have put on my iron spiky shoes made for climbing.
Cool.
And gotten my things together, put a bag down so that I weigh a little less to climb on up.
Yeah, sure.
I wanted to. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're okay.
Good.
I was gonna say, I wanted to check out the Widow's Wail itself and see if there's like any like dew or any like porousness on the like branches themselves that would indicate there's like some kind of like secretion on them.
Absolutely. You can make for me a nature or a medicine check, whichever of those skill proficiencies is going to be better for you. I would imagine medicine.
When I get to the top the first time, what do I see?
So, I mean, in terms of where you crest out of the surface, you would notice, even with, because you're a large enough spider at this point, it's obviously midday, roughly. So, like, you'd be able to see far enough into the distance across a flat, horizontal, snowy plain. I said something. Get out of here.
So you're gonna say warning?
Yeah, no. Never. But because it's a flat, snowy plain, thank you. You'd be able to see, you're roughly, I don't know, maybe 200, 300 yards from the edge of the fellwood. So, because it had been described to you before, the fellwood with coming across horizontally would continue up. You look like you are genuinely right down around here.
Okay.
So, like, you would see a little bit beyond the fellwood into the snowy nature. But, like...
So is that around where we met the hags?
No,
Then, or is this,
we're far from hags.
Okay, let me, hold on, I need my map. And I guess I wouldn't do anything because I'm a spider.
Yep.
And,
Spider map.
Yalumlo is no longer here to interpret, so.
Chell, what'd you roll?
20.
20. Cool. You were looking specifically for whether or not there is any dew, substance, stickiness, anything like that. Anything else whatsoever for what you were...
Just like anything that would indicate to me that it's got like some kind of protective like defense for itself, like
Keep things off of it type
yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
Like barbs or something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, Sarah, if you're doing the arms as a spider trying to communicate, I can talk to you.
You can do that?
I can now.
Wow!
Wow.
That's great!
I like to think that's the first thing that you say back to me. I go, how can I help you? You go, whoa!
Just a giant spider.
I know it wasn't sarcastic. It sounded a little bit. You're like, whoa.
Wow, you're
spider
so
dog.
talented.
Genuinely.
boy.
Yay, love this.
I just turned into a spider,
thrilled.
but cool.
Yeah. I'm staring at the giant spider doing this. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so I would tell you We're not far from the Fellwoods, the southernmost part of the Fellwoods.
Hunter's Folly shouldn't be far from here
No.
then. Excellent.
No, I think we've made it about where we wanted to. Ideally, we were going to end up in Hunter's Folly, but I think we're more familiar going through the woods at this point.
Yeah, we'll be able to find our way pretty quickly, just as long as people can see. I think it'll be safer.
It is cold.
Well, you're a spider.
Are you still?
No, I'm just like. It's cold outside.
Oh my god.
Is she carving that in stone for you to read there? Is she carving it in stone for you to read?
I don't understand. No, she was talking to me in my head. Or I was talking in hers. I still don't know how this works.
It's cold?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's snowing.
It's actually nuts. It was sunny.
Well, it's
Not that it's sunny.
Oh.
It snows.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like actively clear out or. If it
No,
was...
I mean it's an overcast day. Like now that we are into the harshness of winter, with being a month into it, like it's perpetually overcast. You would, and you as well, when you guys climb and hit the like outer crest of the surface, which obviously it'll get included to everybody else as well. But like you would see that as you get out, there's definitely like a solid, untouched, like clear layer of snow, roughly 1.5 feet in height out here. So like as you're especially setting up the block and tackle, like it's gonna take you a few minutes to like actively shovel and clear out a pathway, a secure anchor point to like hit, dirt and soil again. Like it's been snowing and the snow is accumulating now. And that's again, especially for you, it's why you know that like this is when winter's getting tough, and this is why it takes you so fucking long for when you go out on your expeditions.
Yeah.
Before.
Which is also why I have a sled, so I'm
Yes.
just on top of it.
Correct.
Before I ascended, at the risk of saying the word ascended,
But you said it anyway.
I did. The vines that come down, they come out of the wall, drip all the way down.
Yep.
Do they then go back into the dirt, or are they just...
They're hanging loosely.
They're just hanging loose?
They're hanging loosely, roughly like 8 to 10 feet.
Okay.
From the bottom.
Okay.
Again, because they're mostly embedded into the wall. Like when I say hanging loosely, it's like
Right.
it's like a couple inches in difference from where it would have been laid into the grooves of the wall.
Sure. I wasn't sure if they were like digging back in or something at a different point. Okay. The only other thing I would have done is inspect the aquifer for any like sediment or anything on the bottom that may have collected there that is like weird. That it's here.
Absolutely. It's a genius thing to do. I can't. Make for me a nature check with advantage, specifically because, one, you were very specific about what you were looking for, but also in terms of, like, as a seafaring person for when you grew up, you would understand, like, silt and sediment.
Yep. That is a 13.
Cool.
So, how much rope you got now? Did you use it all? Getting up here?
Oh yeah, how far was the ascension?
Got about 100.
200 feet.
200 feet.
I had 150 feet of rope.
Felix gave you 50 extra.
That's right, you did. He gave me
Because you would have needed the extra.
Yeah, so you had 200 to get
200
up.
feet of rope. Yep.
Alright, yeah, I only
And then
got
I probably could have just used that same rope for like block and tackle stuff when I got up there too. So
Okay. Yeah, I'll tie on an extra 50 so that we have enough to play with to...
Yeah,
For the
anybody
block.
looking to like grab at the widow's veil, not that I think anybody would, but I would absolutely deter them away from grabbing it.
You didn't have to.
I figured as much, but if for whatever reason someone was like, I got this, I'll just climb it.
Nazgul ain't touching that shit. Nope.
Luna might want it.
Yeah, I would also like step off. I'm assuming there's probably like some type of vial or like container or something in the cart. I would probably also just like off to the distance away from the party and the crew, like as far as I could probably get. Just like, yeah, I'll tell him in a minute. But
Yes.
if there's any like canisters or like vials or anything on the cart, I would want to step away from the party off as far as I could to cut away some of the vine to put into a container to bring with back with me.
What you doing with my 300 feet of dark vision?
So,
No.
all right.
Whatever.
The battery.
So if this is about the thickness of the vine,
Yeah.
are you cutting in, cutting off,
It's that
scraping? Yeah, like I had said, like they're about this
Oh, wow.
thick. Like again, like we were gonna have people climb them. Like,
You know the like when they like score like flowers to help them like get water and they do the like cuts like that?
Yes.
I would do something like that where it's like I can get a bit of like the exterior of it and then also the like inner bits.
cool.
Like aloe.
Yeah, like aloe.
Yeah. Nature or medicine again, in terms of a check for you. Because you... I don't want to say like you were a flower girl, but like because you grew up in an area for nature, you would have absolutely been in an environment where this would have been common practice from mother and aunt. You can roll with advantage.
It's a 16.
Cool. Well, Felix, you're watching, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, great.
Always.
Get a load of this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she's a reasonable distance away from all the other, you know, people. The children and adults for the guild are like gathering and getting stuff prepped for you to carry up and you guys to pull up. So she'd be roughly, you know, 50 to 60 feet away from most other people. But you'd see her like clearly take like a, you know, a reasonably sized vial, probably like, you know, because of the thickness of the vine, something a little bit thicker and wider like that. So this way you can actually get and scrape the essence of it. Are you using your bloodletting knife or are you using a different instrument to do this?
If I am not mistaken, I think you gave me a dagger
Correct.
at some point. So I wouldn't use my sacrificial one. And I also...
What?
It's damn it.
I mean,
What
totally
does
regular
it look
dagger.
like?
It looks
Are you
like
okay?
it's like a little switchblade scalpel-y thing. But it's
Oh,
for
okay,
bloodletting.
okay, all
Yeah,
right.
that's what she'd be
Yeah,
using.
that's
I also feel like I need to make this clear. I know it probably is assumed, but that the vial that I'm putting it in has a cork stop.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Cool. So
Just loose.
Woo! Felix, catch!
okay.
It wouldn't be the first time you introduced a poison to the party.
I step away from the party. Relax.
So
It's a different campaign.
Really? You're gonna stand up on your pedestal? Really?
Oh, I don't have a pedestal. It's on my money.
I will tell you that as you approach this thing, and would you be doing it at the
High
area
horse.
that is dangling
horse.
off of the cavern,
Your high
or
horse.
part
Your
that
horse.
is embedded in the cavern?
I would assume if it's a really big piece and I need to carve at it, it'd probably be easier if it was affixed to the wall.
Very good.
Wait, what? What'd you do?
I swear to God,
Wait,
if
what
you're
did you
about
do?
to Last of Us me right now, I'm gonna fucking lose it.
What did you do?
What does that mean?
Cutting the widow's well.
No, but he said something. What?
If it's the
He's-
piece
he's
that was
over-
affixed to the wall or the piece that was dangling, I said the piece that was affixed to the wall.
Oh,
Like,
No,
what am I
think
cutting?
Oh,
what
okay,
Paul
okay.
heard was very good, Don.
Yeah.
And that was... I
No,
think,
I know. She got
Oh.
upset, and you were
Oh,
talking. to
I
me.
heard very good, Don, and that's
did
what
say that.
grabbed me.
He did say that.
This
He
is
did
wonderful,
say that.
Don. I really love Dungeons and Dragons. It's a very good time. You go and you... So because you're cutting into and scoring a spot that is affixed to the wall, would you touch it with your other hand to hold it steady or no?
Based off the information that you gave me,
Yeah,
I would probably hold on to it.
sure, absolutely. So, hold. Now, also for how I described things to you, the sunken depressions that are in the flesh, would you be scoring one of the areas where there is a depression or scoring one of the like more natural, non-sunken in pieces of the flesh?
I
It's
feel like
to give you a visual, like again, if this is the width of it, the sunken depressions would be about that big.
Yeah.
And they would look like spots around it.
with banana theory,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
assuming
yeah.
that the sunken in spots are probably the bad bits. So I would probably try, if it's a big piece, I would try and get like a healthy spot.
Cool. Okay. Yeah.
Banana theory.
Based on
Banana theory.
Am I
Don,
wrong?
where's the banana?
If you see a dark spot on a banana,
And you rolled.
hey yo, put it
You
away.
rolled a 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I will tell you that with a deft and accurate hand, you are able to hold around the side and then score, like making the diagonal cut and then separating to shave to get, like you said, some of the exterior and some of the interior as well. Man. So for like the people that are in the area, not like super close, but like Felix, peeping over here. For you as well, obviously because you are the one most proximate to this. As you first score in and start to peel back, that same odor of ambrosia suddenly starts to heighten, becomes more dramatic, it becomes more pronounced in the sweetness. It feels almost like it stings at your eyes. You don't see anything wafting out of this, but you can feel that as you're cutting into it, the
Like
vine
venom?
itself feels a little bit withered, like it's flaky. So like how I had described around the edges of the depression, there's again that like chalky old fractal pieces of blood. When you're scoring into this, the vines feel like they wither in your hands and start to crumple. As you're scoring, the residual pieces that fall off look like they are, again, dust or ash. Like they start to rain down ever so slightly in flaky bits. Ambrosia hits more. You peel off a good, I'll say, for whenever you're peeling any kind of fruit, like an apple or a mango, you're able to get like a reasonable thickness.
Like rind, yeah.
Yeah, like a rind from the outside of this. When you're scoring and it starts to peel back, though, you can see within it. You've worked in enough hospital settings that you know what, obviously, when you get below like subdermal tissue and you get into like the fatty muscle where it looks like it's puffed out, it would look like that. Not the same like white pinkish coloration for fatty tissue or muscle. It would look like a dark, unhealthy, undulating, like green ooze, like gelatinous in substance.
Green unhealtty.
Like a dark
Like a color
green.
you hate, like green, like a dumb color.
Wow!
God damn.
Holy shit.
So again, like this is difficult to try to like give the sensation up for the visual, but like when I'm describing it as fatty tissue where it has like pockets, it would look like fucking bubble wrap, you
Yeah.
know? Like where it's got
Where it's swelling
elevations
out
and
of it,
grooves where
yeah.
there's swelling in it. You would see that in some of those more massive pockets where it looks like, and when I say massive, I mean containing more mass, not fucking huge.
Yeah.
But like in those pockets, it would seem as though the green goes from that darker coloration, like a dark pine, to a lighter, translucent, almost visible, capable of seeing through coloration. So like a lime green or like a very pale light green color in some of these massive pockets. You'd be able to see within them through this translucent outer skin like layering. You would be able to see what would look like small dots, like seeds. Like have you ever cut open like a dragon fruit?
Banana
or
theory?
like a watermelon? Banana theory? Yes. You would see these very small, like, a tenth of a millimeter in length and thickness around grains of what would look like rice. But again, it would look like a granular seed. So there would be a dozen or so within this little pocket. They're not moving, like the pocket undulates, meaning it, looks like it's a heart beating, so it's ever so slightly. Would you cut into that? 'Cause I gotta ask. Because like you had said you wanted to score outside to get some of the exterior, but then also try to get some of the inside. So like, I'm trying to best describe this before you have made the decision for cutting in, to check in and see whether or not that's something that you would still intend to do.
How high up do the vines go? We said it goes about like 5
It goes
feet.
from where you are at roughly eye level height embedded into the cavernous
But from
wall.
the like top.
Oh, sorry. From the top, it looks like it goes until about 5 feet or so from the exterior of the chasm. So, like, it's a fucking long-ass thing.
I'm going to do the same thing when I get to the top. So that way, if shit goes awry, I'm not stuck in this cavern with it.
Sure. Absolutely. Okay.
So, yeah, once we make it to the top, I'll do
Planning
that.
for future.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Given the things in the water,
Uh-huh.
I would, with my little brazier, I would cast thaumaturgy to
Okay.
make harmless tremors below to kind of sift through.
Sure.
So that way I can try to collect some of it. Logic being, I would like to give it to Christian later to look at to see. I'm assuming he would be able to tell if this was natural gold or if it had already been like smelted.
Yes.
And this is like something had been crushed and left here that was made, or vice versa.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So-
no, I would say that you do that for a few moments. You get, varying in sizes. Like, I'm talking like slivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very small.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you would get roughly a dozen or so, 2 dozen pieces of various metals.
Okay.
I mean, Christian's still down here. Like, I don't know whether or not.
Yeah,
Because we're still in the prepping phases and the manual labor phases of evacuating the cave.
Yeah, I would bring it over to him then.
Yeah, I mean, as you walk over, you're just kind of looking around, like helping load things.
Christian, question for you.
Yeah, he would, set down the couple of, boxes that he was maneuvering about and just kind of look. What?
These metal fragments.
Yeah.
Could you look at those and determine if they are natural or if they were, if they'd already been smelted?
Smelted for sure. Definitely smelted. Pull these a couple different pieces of them. Yeah, some of these especially because alloys, when metals get
Sure.
melted together,
Sure.
can only be done by a smith.
There are a lot of fragments like this in the aquifer. I was curious as to why they might have been there, if they were natural or not. But
Yeah, no, I mean, he would go over and look and, stand over the aquifer and look. Again, the aquifer itself is a circle maybe 2 feet in diameter, so, it's not fucking huge.
Yeah.
But obviously there is the different texture in terms of, because it's water breaking away the harder exterior of clay and getting to more of the silt layer.
Yes.
I know, as he stands over it and you I would imagine you would tell him that you made tremors because,
Yeah.
he would come over and look at it.
Yes.
Make for me a perception check.
Natural 20.
Fantastic. So,
I see all.
despite you as Ether having never seen this before, I will tell you that as you made the tremors, that as you're walking back over and he pauses and he's looking at it, you would be able to see, so again, it's got the little bit of a depression just from the weight of the water that would have created this groove here. As you pause and you think about it and you made these tremors, you realize that, it felt as though the sand, the silt here, jostled and moved a little bit too much for this to just be a little depression. As though when you're tilling soil and you're really ripping up, it felt like it was rotating
Sure.
really pretty vertically from the movements
Sure.
and the gyration of the seismic
Like
activity.
it's a lot of silt.
Yes, and that it probably goes down pretty deep.
Okay.
You as a person, just in terms of the visualization, it's like quicksand.
Oh.
You just told me you have a fear of it, so I'm going to put it in here for you.
Yeah. No, thank you.
Specifically.
Thank you.
Quicksand is spooky.
How tremory was that tremor? Was it located to just that
It's
one
just
area?
it's a
Okay.
30-foot range. I'm just doing it in a small area,
Gotcha.
so you
Okay.
would not. They're very small, almost unnoticeable
Gotcha.
tremors.
Okay.
The bottom of 10x.
Yeah, I would just make sure that kids don't go near this then.
Yeah, I
during
mean,
the entire
he would
the rest of the
absolutely,
time.
though, because he's very inquisitive and wants to know about this, would, kneel down next to it and, reach in and put his hand also.
Sure.
Move his hand through. And, for us, for any of the people that have, obviously not panned for gold necessarily, but in an area where you've got an abundance of water, but then a heaviness of soil around it. Like your fingers do have a little bit of resistance, but you can feel as it washes through the break points in between your fingers as it moves through to where when he claws through with his hand, he just kind of pulls his hand back up, watches as the water, the little bit of, silty soil kind of drips away like mud, and just kind of stares at it curiously. It's really rich soil. Get it? It's got gold in it.
Oh, yes, that is very funny.
Joke.
Yes.
But no, really, this is very rich, mineral-rich soil, too.
I can't imagine why that would be.
I'm not like a farmer.
Yes, no, I understand that. I wonder if something could have grown here at some point.
Maybe. I'm not a farmer.
Yes, all right.
I hit shit with a hammer.
Yes.
Make shit.
Thank you,
He
Christian.
just does it once again and just kind of looks at the mud as it, weeps through his fingers.
Weeps? Weeps? John?
Sometimes I have to phrase things for my enjoyment as well, alright?
Weeps?
Yeah! A steady flow of tears in my palm, Tom.
I'm going to collect some of it in a vial.
The tears?
Yeah, the tears in a vial.
Cool.
So that way I can have somebody that does farm look at it at some point.
Are you attempting to get any of the silt-like soil?
Yeah, absolutely.
Some of the
yes.
mineralization? Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. To determine, somebody would be... I've asked Ritora when we get up higher if, did something grow here previously? What the fuck is this?
You're not gonna ask the guy with the green thumb?
We have literal farmers in our midst.
Yep. Yeah, also that.
We just picked up a bunch
That's
of chunks living on the farm.
They grew plants and stuff underground.
I don't know
Extensively.
how much they know about soil, though.
It's fair.
You know what? You ask Grimdar.
Anyone else want to do anything at all? In the underground?
I would just wait for us to be ready to actually move the children up, and I would cast flight and carry the small ones.
Sure.
You don't want me to carry you up?
No, don't touch me.
Spider
Climb on my
bear.
back, Spider-Man.
The spider bear.
Spider-Man, sorry.
Can I be a spider bear?
Thank you.
You haven't seen it yet.
Thank you. What do you mean?
Right, well, it was fun.
What about in my dreams?
No.
I don't dream. It's
I had no
only
dreams.
meditate.
I imagine I would have had a pretty good amount of time between finishing the block and tackle and when people started coming out of the hole.
Yes.
While we're waiting for people to come out of the
Yes.
hole, I would start exploring around to see what exactly is within not even 100 yards, 50 yards of the hole in you know what I mean?
Are you looking for anything in particular? Because to clarify, when she came up, I was like, it is flat, snowy plains for mile stretches for west, south,
never mind, sorry.
south, and east. No, it's okay. Northward is where, you guys are at the edge of the Fellwood. So, if the Fellwood has a concluding point here, you guys are, right down here.
Gotcha.
So, all this is nothingness. You'd see the mountains towards Felfar than, 7 more miles in the distance to the east.
I'll go, maybe not as far, I'll go 25 yards from the hole and walk in a circle and just make sure that there's nothing that looks threatening, dangerous, out of place.
Yeah. Also can easily tell you that the snow here is completely untouched and fresh.
Okay.
Anyone else anything while we are in the process of evacuating the chasm?
Nope, just setting up the block and tackle and getting ready to pull.
Yeah, no, I would say, again, it would take roughly an hour or so from start to finish for all the equipment, flying the children up, having some of the people climb, using the block and tackle, everybody works together communally. Again, you guys made a good plan. I'm not going to make anybody roll when there's a good plan. Outside of the crossbow, because that's a very precision-based thing and that was only exclusively for the value of the time it would take. The only thing that I would like to conclude in terms of an action from a player is for getting out and then attempting to kind of lean in and carve again.
If it's a 5-foot distance, I would say I probably climbed the vines to get up because they didn't affect me when I had touched them before. So when I get to the highest level that I can is when I would start to cut. I would, like, wherever I'm standing, I would kind of, like, start to cut from there.
Mm-hmm.
And then, same deal. I would also, like, announce to everybody, like, please get as far away from here as you possibly can.
Spider gestures.
Spider Lady has an issue with that.
I've seen things that are similar to this, and while they don't seem to affect me, I am a little concerned that they might provide a hallucinatory effect to people.
What if that fails and it falls off the wall? Do you have a plan for dropping 200 feet to your death?
Well, we still have the hook and the rope thing. Could we just tie that around me, maybe?
We're currently using it for kids, but I mean...
Everybody's out of the hole.
Yeah, once everybody... She'd be doing this once everything and everyone is done.
Well, definitely just climb the rope.
I'm trying to cut the vine. Like, I'm standing on the vine.
She
so
wants
I
to
can cut
collect
it.
the vine.
Oh.
Yeah.
Collect part of the interior of the vine.
Yeah, but there's vines surrounding the areas that are open.
So I wanted to wait until I was almost out. So that way if anything happens, I can jump out.
He said that they were around the wall in spaces, right?
At the top.
And we ran a rope up the middle in a clear space. So there would theoretically be Widow's Well on either side of you going up.
The problem with that is because the hole is 20 feet in diameter, if you guys ran it through the middle, you would need to try to angle it to be able to get close to the exterior.
And I when I shot the crossbow bolt, I wouldn't have done it in the middle.
near.
I mean, there's nothing over the hole.
Yeah, but we
Yes.
recalled the rope that you'd shot and then re-ran the rope back down with the block and tackle.
But it wouldn't have been in the center.
Sure.
'Cause
And that's
we have,
fair.
We have nothing to
Yeah,
suspend
10
in the
foot
center.
out.
with.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
that's
no,
fair.
it would have been like centered between 2 points is what I mean, not centered
Yes.
in the hole.
Sure.
So then with the block and tackle, could we reestablish it near somewhere around the hole
You
where
just
there's...
it's the Widow's Well is starting just slightly below the opening from
like
the
5
hole.
feet,
So
yeah.
you,
Just hang off
I don't
the
want to
It's 5
hang
feet
off
down.
the edge, though, and cut upside
No,
It's
no,
5 feet
hang
down.
off the
From the
rope
top.
and reach over to the side
That's
of
what
you.
I'm saying. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if the rope was away from the Widow's Well, can we just move it so I'm near the Widow's Well?
Yes.
Just that.
That is manageable. That's
Okay.
absolutely manageable.
So,
So this
yeah.
way you're on the rope. It would be the same thing again, medicine or nature as a check for you to score this and then try to specifically get some of the, gelatinous-like fatty tissue that resides within.
Straight roll.
No, it's still with advantage.
Okay.
Yeah.
17.
with history or nature. Was that it? It was
Medicine.
Medicine
Medicine
or
or
nature. Yeah. So I will tell you, it has the same appearance and visualization because you're again cutting into a spot where it is embedded into the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So you score the outside, parse it, get to the gelatinous fatty tissue again where it's got different grooves,
Yeah.
looking like bulbs. You're trying to score into one to collect some of the fatty tissue.
Yes.
All right.
Or at least trying to, like, if it looks
Yeah,
almost
yeah.
like jelly, just kind of, like, scooping it maybe into...
Fair.
Like,
okay.
if it's like a spoon to kind of, like, scoop it out.
Wonderful. That I will ask you to make because you're on a rope. You're like holding vial, holding knife, scooping. Like you're holding your weight. It would unless I guess I would say Thariel's smart enough to where you would like wrap it through your legs and like get yourself like at a good vantage point for holding on.
Yeah.
To where you would have a better use of both hands. So it's a straight dex check as opposed to one with disadvantage because I don't want to have it be like, oh, well, you didn't clarify. You did these leg things with the rope tricks, and it's like that just feels like a dick thing.
Loop it around. All right, just straight dex.
Yep.
It's a 10.
Cool. So I will say that as you hold this, would you use the same vial or a different vial?
Probably a different vial because
Different
it's the
vial.
big ones to hold the.
Correct, yeah, with the gelatinous substance. Yeah, so I mean, I will say that as you hold this, you kind of angle your knife obviously above it. So like if this, piece of my microphone, this circle here is the pocket that you're trying to scoop, you would hold the vial underneath and try to like angle, burst, or sludge scoop it in. With a 10, I will tell you that as you just get the point of the knife at the base, so again, with this having obviously some thickness, it would be bulbous out.
Yeah.
You would get at the edge of your knife towards the base at the backing of this to try to scoop it out in one go. Your knife touches this, breaks into the gelatinous area of the back, starts to pull. It would immediately start to condense, like, inward. So, like, not where you pop a balloon and it bursts outwards. It would look like it sinks and collapses in on itself, where it looks like a wound closing. It would start to drain a lime green, like, horrible smelling, pustulent ooze out from the top over itself on the edge of the bubble, collecting itself in your vial, and it would sink, collapse, and become like a withered, handprint against the backing of the vine itself. With a 10, I would say for what you're capable of collecting, it's an ounce. You have like an ounce of liquid here, and then it would be a very horrible smell. You guys, with even being outside of the area, would start to get this odor as it sinks in, contacts the back of its point, stops dripping. Nothing happens. Nothing additional happens, I mean. So you have 1 ounce of this strange goo.
Would you allow me to try again?
Yeah.
All right.
Are you doing it at a different one of these things? Because this one would have sunken in. It would look like it doesn't contain anything anymore.
Yeah, I would try,
the granular seeds would not have pulled out.
Yeah.
They would have stayed within, and they would be pushed back.
Yeah, I would carve at a different area.
Sure. So go to a different one. Mm-hmm. Would you carve in it the same way, or would you carve in differently?
I would be less concerned about, like, the collection of the stem at this point. I would just be, like, hacking for the sake of hacking and trying to, like, expose it.
All right. Make another dex check.
I'm watching her do this as a spider.
Yep.
17.
Cool. How close would you be as you're watching her do this? Are you, like, on the surface looking down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Within 30 feet.
Spider distance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyone else want to clarify where they are in relation to what's going on? Like, the guild and the children would absolutely be, like, walking, 30 feet or so away from the hole.
I'd be holding the rope for her if, like, I had to, like, swing it over to the side or swing it over this way.
Yeah, keep it taut.
Yeah. I'm holding on to it.
I'd be watching, but from a distance, laying on the edge of the hole and looking. Mm-hmm. The only clarifying question that I will ask about what you described to her is the color of the liquid that she collected the same as the color that we saw dripping onto the weird bone
the fang?
salt tree?
Similar, yes.
Okay.
Yes, very similar.
Flying above the hole, like 10 feet up.
Okay, very good. Yeah. You start carving to, like, again, as you're saying, expose. Mm-hmm. So then if your goal is to expose, are you trying to just burst as much of the fatty tissue as you can to see what's behind it? Or are you trying to, like, shred it vertically to get as much of it out as possible?
So the way I envision it is, like, almost like an orange, where it's, like, the thick layer, and then you peel it back, and then it's got the, like...
Fleshy bits?
Like, not even fleshy bits, but, like,
the
white
cell.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the cell, yes. And then, like, how it's, like, spongy, but it almost looks, like, muscly. Like, like, that texture.
Yeah.
I think before when I was doing it, I was trying to carve, like, a literal, like, orange slice. This, I'm just peeling back the rind.
Cool.
Like,
okay, yeah. And you said 17 on this next dex check? Yeah, great. So I will say that, like, understanding for what you're trying to do, especially because you would have scored, a small section out of the edge of the vine, in like a diamondish shape, like that big. You just run the edge of the knife down, kind of going into the direction for where the base of your cut would have been, splitting it open, like, deeper and further. Can you remind me, please, what I've given you in terms of resistances?
I think it is cold and necrotic.
Okay. And I also clarified for this specifically. Great. Okay. Oh, boy. Well, as you run it down and it starts to split further through the layer, the exterior fleshy portion or flaky portion of the vine matter itself, and it starts to feather away like dust and ash kind of cascading down below you. You guys would see it's it's still dark below because there's no natural light illuminating below. It's an overcast day, so I mean, she would look as though she's kind of suspended against a dark, pitch black bottom because we're so high up into the air from the subterranean cavern below us. You would see that as she's splitting this and this ash-like substance parses around her, it would look like it's a slow descending trail of cloud, like gray and black at points below her feet. You would see as she splits. Are you still attempting to catch any of this with the vial? Like, with how much is here, like, I don't want to misconvey the scene because, like, again, you're splitting something that's this wide. If you're going down a decent distance, you might be going over 4 or 5 of these bulbs.
At this point, I would say that I'm not so much worried about catching it as I'm just curious as to what it is. So, like, trying to scoop it onto the knife.
Cool. Okay. So then downward because you want to scoop out.
Mm-hmm.
With a 17, yeah. You split down. I'll say that you pop 2 more bulbs as you go through and they... again, leak, but because you're splitting them through, it's like cutting through like a good egg yolk on like a sunny side egg. So as you split through it, it starts to like, as a congealed, but having a certain sense of viscosity and mass to it and volume, it leaks slowly over itself like, you know, waterfall tier layering as you split through another and split through another. With not catching it, you would see that it starts to fall over more areas of the fleshy vine below. As it hits that, and because you're splitting it through and through, and it peels back, like, you know, at a bisected center, opening like the lily pads. Oh, this is gorgeous in my eyes. You would see that the black little granular seeds that seem as though they are, especially for us who, you know, cook with eggs quite frequently, you know, where you get that membrane-like tissue for the inner part of the white that looks like it's still connected to the yolk, that darker white kind of filmy bit, you would see that it seems like the little seeds are held within a membrane. As the membrane runs over the vines as it descends downward below, the membrane kind of dissolves as though it sinks into the exterior flaky flesh of the not split open vine below, and the seeds ever so slightly shake and begin to open. Like, I know like I've described them as very small. Yeah, they're very small, like slivers similar to, again, the size of a grain of rice, but they would split in the same way that you cut them, bisected along the middle, and as they open, you would see just a singular little wispy white puff. For when I've described like blowing a dandelion out into the wind, you would see a little small white bit rise up. So because there's like a dozen or so seeds, it would look like it coats, as it goes downward, it coats the bottom of the dark, decrepit, rotten vine and starts to bloom outward from it. Like you would see as it starts to grow, it continues to grow from like a single wisp. Not growing in additional quantity, but growing in length. So like, you know, again, 1/10 of an inch, slowly moving. A dozen of these little pockets over the vine here.
And they're in the, like, ichor that's coming out of...
Yeah. Yeah, the membrane would seem as though for you being right here, like it gets absorbed. Like when you're putting lotion on your skin, you would see that there's definitively like an absorbent, porous-like surface that should be here on these vines, that this gelatinous goo is kind of rejuvenating. You would see that the area where the membrane is sticking to it, that it's restoring the vitality of the plant. So it's no longer looking like it's flaky. It looks like, as, you know, again, it gets coated and it sinks into the skin. It's regenerative and like it puffs.
I will absolutely make a check on it if you want me to. I want to try and scoop some of it.
Sure. Yeah, with it having coated over the vine, it looks like it's mostly sunken in and been absorbed by the exterior flesh of the vine. If you want to try to scoop some of it, I would say you would need to either try to get, again, because you scored inward, you would need to get into that, you know, little pocket at the base of where you scored, or you would need to cut into another gelatinous membrane.
Was there still stuff on the knife?
Ooh, yeah. With a 17, I would say that there's a little bit of a filmy layer. You just want to scrape that into the vial, then yeah, absolutely, you can do that. I would say that there's no seeds on what... fuck it. Why not? Roll a d20. Okay. 10 up, you get a seed.
It's like...
Yes. Literally that.
2.
2. Yeah. I would say that as you scrape it along, you would see that there's not a seed in the gelatinous substance that you're scraping into the vial.
I would just yell up what's going on down here to everybody else, like what I'm seeing.
Oh, describing the scene.
What's going on? Like, you fucking
what are we doing?
No, like everything that's just happened here, I would explain it up to you guys.
What is this?
What's going on?
There's these like seed-like things in this plant, and they seem almost regenerative. They seem to be like helping to heal the plant. These like seed-like things.
I don't think that's good if it's widow's wail.
I mean, perhaps the bad things you know about widow's whale are the outer portions that are used to protect what's inside.
Paul, what's your question?
So for health potions, do I know the contents of them? What's used in the potion making?
I would say you could make a history check on that. Again, you're not like a trained apothecary or anything like that, but it would have been something that would have at least come up to a degree in your studies at points.
So that's going to be a 13.
Sure, 13's not bad.
Oh, wait a second. No, I did the math so wrong.
You're okay.
I'm sorry. It's 11.
11? Yeah, I mean, it's still slightly above average where you're not going to get like an exact list or measurements, but like you would know for what goes into health potions, it's typically herbs with various medicinal and magical properties, but you do know because the health potions are capable of like closing wounds and things of that nature, it would make sense to you with everything that we've been seeing, especially in the description of like fleshwort and like corpse rot for those things that are capable of returning lost flesh. You would think that those would be pretty probable as ingredients, especially for the stronger health potions that are really able to like do a lot for you. The other thing that, because it's not common knowledge, but like most frequently troll blood, because trolls naturally have regenerative properties. I would say as a person you would have been educated on that notion. Because trolls specifically have regenerative properties, it's commonly used, but you would also be able to equate that other things with regenerative properties might have been able to have their blood harvested and used.
Right.
In replace or substitution of troll blood. So, herbs and blood.
Okay. I would relay that information to you. That has properties similar to obviously healing potions in trolls and their blood.
I know Chell knows this. I don't know if Thariel would know this. That
Sure.
like sometimes medicinal properties with hallucinogenic and like paralytic type effects in small doses could be used for healing.
Yeah.
So like
I would say again, with being an herbal person for how you grew up, like the hags are very naturalistic individuals. They do very much believe in the importance of understanding and utilizing nature.
Holistic medicine.
Yeah, very much. So like I would say that you would have known that.
yeah. So I mean I would relay that too. Like I get a sense that the widow's wail can cause hallucinations and paralysis, but I think in small doses this might be helpful.
Yes, Luna used that in her ailment, a healing beverage that she made. I wonder if the widow's wail itself has these properties, or if whatever bodies it had consumed may have had those properties.
I mean, well, I got a little bit of the stem, which I think has some interesting effects that could be used for later, and I also got an ounce of this green stuff. But I can't seem to collect the eggs.
Corrin was the one who collected the widow's wail for Luna initially, right?
Yep.
Did he tell us where he got it from?
The mausoleum.
The mausoleum.
The mausoleum.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, specifically the grounds near the mausoleum towards the gallows themselves, because again, that's where like the people were hanged.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, I would yell up to Luna and also to Corrin. Like, this doesn't affect me touching it. Should I keep trying to collect this? Like, what are your guys' thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, both of them would just kind of look at each other, and Luna would just be like, kind of puzzled at first. Yeah, I mean, it's not something that we want like a lot of, but it definitely is a magical plant that has restorative value. Like, we've been making ailment for several years now, and we've never had anybody, because we're using it in such small amounts within the mixture, we've never had anybody have a bad reaction to it. Like, it's bad if you're touching it when it's raw sometimes, because sometimes those things burst. Like, Corrin also would look at her and just kind of shrug. I never had any problems. I was a vampire when I was collecting it, so like I didn't really have... I had problems still, but...
Sorry, you're not a vampire now?
He's not a human.
No. I'm a man.
What?
This
A
happened
human.
when he was resurrected.
Human man.
Just now.
Look at his face.
Not a fun guy.
He's younger and not blackened and soulless eyes.
Well, I knew he was younger and his
Cracked
skin
and
looked
stuff.
better, but I didn't know you weren't a vampire anymore.
Yes, that wasn't the vampirism. He just had really horrible eczema.
Yeah. The winters up here are cold and unforgiving.
Would you like some of the restorative creams?
I need some of that for my eyes.
These bags are getting ridiculous.
God, tell me about it. I aged 69 years. And
Would you also like some of
Superior.
Cold.
I was answering that, sorry. But yeah, no, I mean, Corrin would just kind of like look
Holding
and,
it in my chin.
I mean, with what I had to perform, especially with surgical means, there were times that I used it as a paralytic. There are other herbs that provide similar effects, but in small doses it can even be applied to a wound directly, and it will numb the area.
Put it in my pocket and get out of the hole then.
Do we know canonically, or have we seen at any point vampires have regenerative properties?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it possible that...
How you doing, Paul?
What's up, buddy?
It's pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
Corrin, you got your the widow's will that you would procure from Luna. You got that from the mausoleum.
Yes, and in the graveyard around it.
Is it possible that the either some of the people that were buried there, or any vampires themselves that were killed in and around the mausoleum, gave regenerative properties to the widow's wail there?
I mean, I, as Corrin, don't know.
Just as a theory.
I mean...
Did the same properties appear... Did you harvest it anywhere else prior and have those same properties, or was it uniquely...
No.
We did establish before that it has different properties depending on where it comes from.
You're thinking of the bloodberries.
Oh, fuck, that's right.
Yes. No, I mean, in terms of me being an intelligent enough man, like, I feel fair as the dungeon master for saying that there were some tombstones that had the word worthy marked on
Written
it.
on them, yes.
I don't know as Corrin what that means,
Yes, absolutely.
but that is a thought,
Yes,
and a good one.
yes.
Thank
All right.
you.
You're welcome.
You're very welcome. I'm Corrin.
Corrin steps back. What just happened?
I went somewhere.
The vampirism is still making my brain tickle.
well, he like died.
Was I just talking
died,
for
died.
like 2 minutes?
Yeah, he did die.
Yeah.
He
Like,
went to heaven.
He, like you
Vampire
you
heaven.
passed him
So
on
hell.
and
Bloodhound.
back, which must be a wild experience, because you didn't get
Yeah, you didn't get ferried on like he did.
ferried, yeah. And
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
neither
Anytime.
did Rhirda, but Corrin did.
Yes, I've seen the face of God.
Sane.
Strange, isn't it?
The other question that I had postured there, when you... did you ever get widow's wail from anywhere else?
Oh, forgive me, no.
Only ever from there?
Yes, I didn't really leave the city,
Sure.
and most of my time was spent beheading feral vampiric women.
Yes, understood.
I never kissed any of them. They would try to kiss me, so I would cut their heads off. I'm a loyal man. And Carolyn would just look over and be like, I mean, I know. But nice. Still had game even in death. Our daughter's right here. Forgive me. Papa had to cut heads off. Sometimes. They were terrible monsters. Mary would just be like, Dad, I got sold to a hag. Like, I know things are bad. You're right. You're right. This is a terrible world and I hate it. But you're here now and I love it. Yeah, I guess kind of same. I'm like a teenage girl. Things are just awful, regardless, even if there's not monsters around. Yes. I get that. I'm a very sympathetic and understanding parent. You've literally known me for like 3 weeks now. You thought I didn't exist. Also that. Yes, fair. It's been a great 3 weeks. I'm a good dad. Looking forward to so much more. I died and came back to life. Twice I did that. Wow. We really should buy a house outside the city, I think. Maybe we can build one or something. Sure, Dad.
He's not...
Keep your chin up, or something.
We do need to find a place for all these orphans to live.
You're right. Can we fit a lot of orphans in this house? Why are you asking me? You grew up in an orphanage, you would know. What the fuck, man? Sorry, insensitive. Didn't mean to come across that way. I'm learning. I'm new to this experience of fatherhood. Oh boy. Help someone. You were a teenage girl.
I'm a spider.
He's pointing at the spider. You were a young lady once, right? Just spider nods up and down. How was it? Any advice? It's bad. Stop. Yes, stop it. Stop it right now. Perhaps grow into a young woman immediately. Can you do that? Can you help her? I can only treat wounds. I can't cure the ailment of puberty.
Oh, man.
He's talking to a just
Spider.
enormous white spider.
Hey, he knows it's you. I mean, he would look over at Zariel. You were also a young girl before.
Dangling on the rope.
Talking to two women who have had very
If you were
bad
done, I
childhood.
would've
She was a hag!
That's fair.
It's not that far off. How was, maturing into a young lady for you? I'm trying to give my daughter advice on how to just... Can we, expedite it? She doesn't really like it so far.
He would like it to hurry up.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, trust nobody.
Oh, dear. Don't listen to that. You should trust your mother and your father.
No,
They're good people.
she said
They're the
trust-
only good people.
She said trust nobody.
All right. Well, this is weird, too, because we're in a guild and we trust these people, and I feel like we're sending you mixed messages. This is probably hard to process.
Just ignore everything Thariel said.
I hate everything about life. Again, that won't really change even into adulthood.
Yeah, I want to
Everything
tell you
is,
it's a phase. It's not.
Yes, one
learned to
thing
bear
we've
it
all
better.
very much learned here is it doesn't get better. Why would you tell me that? I don't know. Honesty, I think, is okay as a dad, right? And he looks at, Carolyn, and she just shrugged, like, I don't know. I literally, we both thought that she didn't exist. Yeah, we'll figure it out as we go.
That's how parenting works.
Half this party doesn't have
Feel
a
free
dad.
to
Don't
turn
ask
to your
us.
mother at any point in this conversation.
Yeah, no, Carolyn's just kind of like, I also thought she was 10.
No, about the teenage stuff. The tangent you went on for 5 minutes.
Oh, sure, yeah.
How
No,
you growing
I
a young
guess
woman.
Mary Bell would absolutely look at Mom and be like, Mom, how was, puberty for you? Terrible. Also, I mean, I was forced to work at 14, had to go through all of that while simultaneously growing into womanhood. It was a lot. You weren't a hag, though. No, you're right. You're right. I had not been consumed and rebirthed by a hag.
Who was the heck as a teenager? Maribel.
Oh, Mary Bell was, as a babe, eaten and rebirthed by
Yes, and then I
Your mom.
sold my
your
soul.
mother.
Well, now hang on. Don't.
I
this has
signed
nothing
a
to do with me.
contract.
Mary Bell looks at sisters. Then
I've never had a sister.
we're kind of family.
Wait, Maribel is Corrin
Corrin
and
and Carolyn's daughter.
not sisters. Well, sort of.
Like, second mom? Like, yay, 2 Christmases!
Is that also?
Right there.
I know!
It's right there.
Did that also?
But like, you know, like a
I mean, yeah, I guess we both called her mom. Boom!
oh dear, Mom, what's that about? Nothing! Again, puberty.
Just like weird.
Hey. Corrin just like, oh, yeah. It's been a weird life, hasn't it? Vampire, doctor, occasionally bisexual wife. She just looked at me like, occasionally? I don't know. I was dead for a long time. What you got up to in your time without me is not my business. You're damn right. Happily married. Happily married. Oh dear.
Can we exit this conversation immediately?
Help me.
I'd pull her up from the rope and everything.
Yeah, Ariel's just like dangling on a rope finger.
Nah, I would have pulled her.
I imagine this happening as we're like reloading the cart.
Yeah.
I'll remove my rope from the
worst
long
possible
rope
spot.
and give him his rope and tackle back. And
Thank you.
Oh, I wish I was dead.
Is everything okay at home?
This rope.
100% ignoring him. And looking at Ritora, are you gonna stay a spider forever? Can you stop it?
I'm just gonna stay like this. Do you have to cast that to talk to me, or can you just do that?
God, I wish I had his hat.
I'm just gonna stay like this in case we run into trouble. And I'll shoot a web out. I can do that.
I don't see where webs come from.
Yeah, that's not where that's nope. That's not.
I'm a spider.
I think she said sometimes there are just days like this that make you want to stay in a bubble.
Why are you shooting webs? What? Is that a no?
You just see Corrin like rushing through the snow over towards like Serenity and stuff. Help me! Womanhood! It's a complicated issue and I want to understand. I want to be empathetic to the plight of my daughter.
I just want to be a woman.
Please! I
Give
must
me
know.
your burdens.
How was it for you? And both of them are just like, oh my god, like, where to begin? Like, you should probably... Let's all just have a seat in the wagon and we'll have, people make some tea and we'll talk. Thank you. Dear God, I have so much to learn.
Unrelated, I feel like if my mom had told me as a young girl, like, when you get to womanhood, it's like being hit with a baseball bat. I feel like I would have been more prepared.
Yep. Baseball bat.
Baseball bat.
I hear you. It's terrible.
I'll drop
What's
the
baseball?
spider.
What's a bat?
What is a
I was a bat.
No,
I'm just gonna drop the spider for him.
Yeah.
She
It's
said
cold out.
she's not a spider anymore.
I think we can.
Yeah,
I'm still trying to figure out the spell, damn it.
that's really cool.
it
I'm
is
glad
very
you can do
okay.
that.
That
Thank
is
you.
helpful.
Yeah,
What?
Okay,
it's useful.
that's all. Okay, all right, cool.
Fucking go.
I was gonna just stay, but it's cold out here, and spiders aren't really that warm. They don't do well in the cold, so.
Were you slowing down?
Just
No,
say in
it's
the
just
distance,
cold.
you guys, as you're talking, would just hear. Friends! Troll! just rushing through the snow, 2 horses in each hand. Friends!
We did tell him to bring the horses.
Yeah, he's got tied around his waist.
Could he see us
An
from
enormous
Hunter's
fucking
Folly?
rope. Yeah. He's got a big rope, so like in the air behind him, flailing is the wagon as he's rushing through the snow. The horse is just neighing in his fucking hand. Friends!
Oh, you found us.
Edelstan.
I put my hands up and start running towards him.
Yeah.
Stone Man!
Yeah, no, he would just kind of like Tokyo Drift, like screech to a halt, just kick up a wave, a blizzard of snow, like,
It's an avalanche.
yeah, just fucking like at you and just. Sorry, Edelstan, bring horses
Good.
Thank you.
Put him
from
down.
the back.
Put him down.
Did we give him more than 2?
No, you
Put him down.
Okay.
So he has 4 now.
Wait, he has 2 in each hand?
Yes.
Oh.
Edelstan found feral horse.
Are there any remains of somebody that may have owned these horses?
You would see
The
that
dead
each
man
of them
hanging
have
off the
like
top.
bridles and saddles and stuff.
Do they
They've
look-
got some bags.
Are they orcish or?
Yeah,
I
they
mean-
look goblin in nature. Or
No, they would
orcish?
look kind of orcish in
Okay.
terms of
Yeah,
like,
alright.
you know, like a rusty
Smush.
scimitar hanging off the
So he had a
side.
great time.
Yeah.
Yes, Edelstan found 2 large green men, and they... Oh, yes, Edelstan say hello, and they throw sharp-pointed stick at Edelstan. So Edelstan smush. Edelstan keep horse safe, because friends like horses. Yes, squish brain. Eat.
I'm really glad we became friends with him.
Edelstan family.
Yes.
Good to see many small now. Friends,
Thank you
Yes.
for
no
coming.
smush.
Family.
No smush.
Family.
Family.
We have to protect them.
Edelstan guard with life.
Do you see all these small children with us as well?
Yes, Edelstan just asked if should smush and was told no.
Oh, I thought you meant us.
No, I mean small, like
Smaller than us.
Small.
friend.
Not smaller than you. Smaller than us.
Wait, he walks up to people not being aggressive. He's like, "Do I smush?"
I mean, he's got to ask. You guys are setting standards here for him. We smush on sight. Yeah, smash or smush.
Smush or pass.
Corrin.
Smash.
How was trip?
Dark.
Cave.
Yeah.
Dark.
A lot of rock.
Good. Edelstan love rock.
The
You
rocks
just
were
see
okay.
Grimdar just...
I was gonna say, what's Grimdar doing?
No.
Grimdar love rock.
Careless Whisper playing in the background.
Son. And he just instinctively reaches down towards Grimdar, who does. Ah. He just holds little Grimdar aloft in his palms. You're dwarf. Oh,
Oh no.
best friends. Bran too. Okay. Which one? And you see Grimdar just kind of walk over to the edge of his palm and point down at little Bran, who's just... Not pick up, understand boundaries, Edelstan does.
He got better with that.
He just like pets Grimdar on the head. Just like, kind of like puts a big dimple dent in the fucking hat. Just strokes him heavily like a dog.
Does he crush
So
Dork?
yeah, what happens to Dork?
Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. You just see like his finger just hit the hat, put the dent in, and Grimdar just kind of shrink down a little bit. No, I have a skull in there. Same. Oh. Edelstan, be gentle. Catch. And you just see, whee! Grimdar, you see the hat like fly up a little bit, the skull fly up, he lands, skull lands, hat lands. Whee! Whee! That's happening.
What do these new horses look like?
We'll say that there's a light, stormy gray one where it looks like it's got kind of like marbled skin texture to it. So some spots on it are a little bit of a darker gray, like the cloudy, overcast day. And you have any requests for the other one?
No, I actually kind of like the marble white horse that
Same, dude,
disappear in the snow
Yes,
and
right.
no one can see it.
Yeah, I'll say the other one is a big Clydesdale for you. Then,
Yes.
Sarah, you have a Clydesdale.
Draft
That would have
horse.
definitely been the orc chieftain that he smushed.
And ate his brain.
And ate his brain.
Single-handedly wiped out an entire orc clan.
Yeah, I'd imagine they're both really big stature
Yes.
horses.
Yep. Absolutely.
Sick. I'm gonna
We're
just
on
say
vacation.
a bunch of shit in Orcish and
Yeah.
watch the horse respond and walk over to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, it would listen. You would just say, like, come, and it would absolutely walk over towards you and stop and put its head down.
Start petting him.
Edelstan bring gift. Make happy.
I
Just
have
kind
a
of
horse now.
slowly lowers Grimdar down and lets him walk back into the snow. Grimdar kind of sinks a little bit because he's stocky. You just see, just like his
Disappear in
dwarf
the
shoulders
snow.
and face above the snow.
He's invisible in the snow. Yeah.
Start hooking up the cart
He's running.
to the.
Okay, he unhinges the cart and just kind of like pushes it away from him.
It is good to see you again.
Edelstan, very happy friends back.
Yes.
Adelstan started prepare cave for family. Smush. Many bad things in cave. Adelstan smush. Now have new house.
That is wonderful.
The cave is empty now?
Yes. Well, yes.
The corpses are everywhere.
Adelstan's not great at cleaning.
Okay, we'll clean when we get
This is
there.
my corpse.
Might be lots of bones.
Corpse TV. Just a body.
Also, swords. Smush. Adelstan did good.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you did wonderful.
Good.
Very good.
We're very happy to see you.
Adelstan very happy also. Would you like ride? Adelstan could give ride. He just kind of lowers his hands.
Yes.
We have
Shotgun.
I'm gonna hop up on my new horse.
Adelstan could fit roughly 4 people per hand.
Dibs.
Are his hands warm?
It's made a story.
Yeah.
Maybe the children?
Oh.
Yeah.
They're not used to the
Yes.
to the cold.
Probably. That would be best.
Yeah. He just starts scooting up kids.
If
Okay.
if I remember right, we also asked Adelstan to like prepare an area to go to,
Yep.
like a cave, right?
Yeah, he just said
I
yeah.
literally just said that I cleared out the cave.
Are you okay?
No, you didn't.
Yes,
I
he did.
sincerely
He
just
described
did.
that
Yes,
there
he
were.
did.
I
We just made a bunch of
described
corpse jokes. It's
Yeah.
just
He
That's
did
filled-
everything.
It's filled with
Like,
corpses.
like
and
roughly
swords.
2 minutes ago.
Oh, and swords. Okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
he said he did a good job.
Yeah, and I okay.
Sure you're okay?
Call Riblet. Just call Riblet. Get on your horse and let's go.
Just pulls the blanket tighter around.
Yeah. Oh, I'm worried
He
about this.
literally just multiple
I
people
know.
reacted.
antioxidants.
He said, "Oh, it's so cold."
Like he literally asked, "Did I do good?"
Yeah, and that was where I was like, "Hey, you did great. We appreciate it." And then I went, "Hey, did you do the cave?"
Starting to think you're less person, more so like a Victorian boy ghost. I'm just so cold. What was it you said? I was miles away.
No, the worst part is I was listening. I just,
Yeah, that's why we're like, "Are you all right?"
I just forgot 2 minutes later that we could even have that conversation.
Maybe you should start writing stuff down. Little notes.
Maybe, yeah.
Help me.
Like you have a notebook in front of you.
You're right. I can't read. It's cursive.
What?
It's not cursive.
It's not cursive.
Chicken scratch.
Oh God. Oh, wow. All right.
He writes in cuneiform.
Yeah, that's a unique font.
It's wingdings.
Yeah, I'd say Adelstan has collected the children and starts marching east towards the area where he knows he cleared the cave outside of the Fellwood.
If well,
Okay.
we have the 2 horses hooked up to the 1 carriage, and
Yeah.
I guess we'll daisy chain the
Yep.
other wagon
Wagon
to
to the
that.
back of it. Yeah.
Alright, so we have 13 children.
Yep.
He can hold
8 of
4
them.
per hand.
Yep.
Well, 7, because I think she said uppies. Right?
It's fine. I'll let him go.
Mm.
The cold doesn't affect me. I'll just trudge through it.
Cold doesn't bother you anyway.
It doesn't.
I hate that. Go ahead, blizzard up.
So I'm just the Frost from the fucking Incredibles.
Frozone?
Yeah.
I know. I mean, we start
Where
marching
the
eastward. I don't know if
super-
anybody wants to do anything on the trek to the east, or if you guys want me to expedite us to the actual cave that has been cleared. That's up to you.
I
guys.
would like to listen to the entire conversation of Corrin and the ladies over some tea.
Sure, absolutely. I'm happy to roleplay that.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
All on my own. So tell me. You said breasts swell? I'm very confused.
He's a doctor.
He was
I didn't study ladies.
He's good at injuries.
He was
Injuries because he's a
specifically like
paladin.
a surgeon.
Yeah.
He drove the devil out.
He's not a gyno.
Yeah, he's a trauma doctor.
Yeah, he's an ER doctor.
I'm not a lady doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a wife.
I
Like,
mean,
it's
yeah, no, absolutely.
It's not like he's never been around women before.
Yes, absolutely. Like,
Well, I mean, I was gonna say, let's not.
You know what?
Let's not be hasty.
I've seen some.
Yes, some ignorant men.
Ignorant men on the internet recently. So.
Recently?
Yes.
It's
Like,
not about
in
the
ex-
size
in excess
of
recently.
the tampon. It's just about the heaviness. My God.
I'm just sipping tea.
Conversation.
Because I'm in this carriage, I'm just sipping some tea.
Oh god.
All right. And it lasts days. Dear God, I'm so sorry.
To shreds, you say.
And it shreds, you say. The uterine lining shreds, you say.
The only mammal that can bleed that long and not die.
I just imagine him asking Carolyn, like, Carolyn, how are babies made? I don't understand.
What did we do? Where did she come from? Corrin, you...
Is this because we held hands?
Yeah, you were a doctor. I tried.
I wasn't there when you pooped her out.
You were taken away to the inner sanctum and then came back with a baby. I don't understand.
Technically didn't.
Yes. Oh. Wow. Different for each woman, too. God, this is a lot. I'm going to need to invest in some sort of journal. Write all this down.
I hand him a spare notebook.
Thank you, Felix. You're a good man. Do you have a ink and quill?
Only red.
Now it's red.
How sadly appropriate. On Womanhood
Only to you, Rtle had a book.
by Corrin.
The Diabolist.
The Diabolist.
I am a doctor.
Page 1.
He just keeps naming
I'm a
himself.
doctor.
Just adding title after title.
Want to learn more?
This is Corrin's vagina monologue.
Are you there, God? It's me, Corrin. I shall have to educate other men afterwards, that they may better understand our fellow creatures.
I'm gonna flex the speed of this horse, and whoever is also
Speed of
riding
it?
the other horse, I'm going to try and race them.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I don't know who would.
Ritora.
I would say the other one would have been the Clydesdale. If
You
Ritora,
chose the
if you wanted-
Clydesdale.
I
Yeah.
just like Clydesdales. They're cool and they're useful. They're really big and they're
Did you
really
summon
strong
Riblet, or are you
and
riding around?
I would have just
Like-
ridden
They got
one of the
those
horses there. I wouldn't have summoned.
fluffy
Riblet.
feet.
Oh, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
okay. That's them.
Mhm.
It's like Epona from The Legend of Zelda.
So I'd probably be on the Clydesdale unless Ritora is.
She's on the
She's
Clydesdale.
on the Clydesdale.
Then I'm not on the Clydesdale.
I mean, you
can
could be.
summon your own steed.
Well,
I just still like the
You said
idea
you
of you
summoned
can
Riblet.
summon your own horse and you're riding
No,
bitch
I-
on hers.
Yeah, me too, I did.
I have my own.
I only have 2. Yeah, I'm not burning the spell slot for Riblet.
Wow.
I would listen to my headcanon conversation of Adelstan and Grimdar. Grimdar like rocks. Adelstan like rocks. Grimdar like rocks. Adelstan.
Adelstan moved mountains before. Oh.
The other kids are like, oh.
Yes. Adelstan was told mountain must move. So Adelstan moved mountain. Yeah. Would you like move mountain together? Uh-huh. You have stone axe for hit. Hammer. Hammer, good. Hammer work. We hit with hammer. Yeah. Okay. One mountain at a time. Let's not be too hasty. Okay.
Jeez.
Anyone else any conversation requests?
Yeah, I'm just listening to the Vagina Diaries or whatever he said.
My God. Even into adulthood it persists. Carolyn, does that mean you? No, I'm a vampire. Interesting. Perhaps, Mary Bell, there is a way out of it.
I just spit out some tea.
All women should be vampires.
Oh no.
Well, now hang on.
And that's the end of humanity.
I don't know. I will say we, for roughly a good hour or two, we listen to the musings and confusing notions of womanhood through the lens of Corrin, through the other women of the guild.
I'm really shocked that he would be so unaware.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Listen, Carolyn worked long hours at an orphanage. Like, they very rarely saw each other. He's a good man. He's doing his best. He's trying to learn now.
He didn't need to understand the vampire women to kill them.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We head east. We see obviously the looming mountains in the distance for the shards of winter, and as we're traveling east, the snowy plains are untouched. As the day progresses, you would see around you small snowflakes start to flutter down and pick up after an hour or so of travel, and a lot of the members of the guild would bundle up a little bit more and make sure that the children were effectively under like a tarp like tent in Adelstan's hand. At one point they would make sure that Adelstan lowers the kids so each of them can be given additional blankets for warmth and protection. And as we approach the area where Adelstan would kind of gesture ahead to this way, especially for the people on horseback who are faster than he is while walking, he would point and you would see in the distance the a similar looking mouth opening for a cave where it's a large looming arch at the base of one of the like southern reaches, where there would be like a valley, so it would kind of sink in almost like it's a little bit of an alcove. So there would be an extending like opening kind of walkway in, goes maybe about 30 to 40 feet. You would point in there. I'm assuming you would, as the person on the fastest horse, gallop into the opening. You would see that, yeah, you do look like you're sitting into a little bit of a recessed valley where the mountain opens up around it and starts to ascend
sort
upwards.
of is broken on both sides of the front of it.
Correct.
Yeah.
While we're going, I would be keeping my eye out for anyone following us or anything suspicious around us.
Yeah, you can make a perception check.
Oh my god. Math, please.
What are you trying to do?
15.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I will tell you that through the course of the 2 hours, it doesn't look like there is anything in the environment around you that is disturbed behind you in regards to the openness of the plain. You would see that it is vast and expansive, giving you clear visibility for a long stretch. Obviously, as the day gets a little bit more overcast and foggy and the snow starts to come down, it becomes a little bit harder for you to see behind you. You would see nothing like really moving from the fellwood reaches from the southeastern edge as you're passing by them and then getting, a reasonable distance away from them, because from the edge of the fellwood to the base of the mountains, there's a 2-mile gap. So like, as you're traversing this, you would see the fellwoods kind of disappear from your sight. But, you would obviously still see the tops of the trees. 15? I will tell you that the only thing that seems as though it is new or strange in the atmosphere around you or the environment around you, we're traveling and we're hitting the middle to later portions of the day. The overcast sun would start to set, it would grow darker. You would see up ahead in the upper regions of the mountain towards some of the peaks, obvious descending clouds for like fog cover, almost spiraling and warping, like wrapping around the upper echelons of the various topography of the mountain height. You would see no like creatures or anything like that, nothing strange, but you would just see that there is a rolling cloud cover that is moving over the mountains themselves.
Like a storm coming in?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'll point that out to the rest of the party.
Yeah. Anyone else anything while we're moving? Cool. Glenn, for you, because you are the individual at the head of the party, you would again see, you still have the 300 feet of dark vision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you'd be able to see into and through the opening of the cave mouth. It would look like it goes in roughly 100 feet, it would open up into like, you know, kind of the shape of a P, but a little bit harsher of an angle. So like, you know, this entryway, this is only like a 20 feet walkway, but then this, you know, bulb-like area back
Goes
here.
back a ways.
It's like a sock.
Goes back. Yeah, sure, a sock. Yeah, absolutely. But like, you know, this definitely is a reasonably sized, like 100-foot area around. So enough to where people are going to be able to stay here and have a reasonable amount of protection, especially with you being able to, once you are into the like neck of the cave, get a good vantage point. I will tell you that as you look in here, there was definitely an orc warband in here.
Orc.
Like
Fits.
Yeah, like just like the overwhelming odor of blood and carnage. You would see like 20 corpses on the ground in various states of like some remnants, some just like literal puddles of meat and blood. You would see that there's just scattered fragment pieces of, you know, the metal banded plates from armor sets and, you know, leather boots and stuff like that. Mostly broken, splintered, fractured. But yeah, there's definitely some pretty fucked battle in here. In terms of the opening of the cave mouth, it's only about 10 feet high. So like as you're walking into and then through this is only about 10 feet high. It opens up in here to around 20-foot height ceilings. Mm-hmm. So like he crawled in here and then stood up and smushed.
Yeah. No escape.
Yeah, no escape.
Remnants of tents, I'm assuming too. Like yeah, this is like they were full blown. They had a camp here.
They had paused here. Yes, you would see like the setups from like a campfire. You would see that there would have been boxes that would have been started to be like unloaded, just with like adventuring gear and things like that. It doesn't look like they were carrying anything strange just from like an initial first glance as you and quickly give it like a glance over.
Yeah, I'd string up my horse, and because I know I was like kicking ass to get here as fast as possible, just because I really wanted to ride on my horse.
Yeah.
I'll get him strung up, and I'll go putz around and look around and make sure that everything's nice and safe. Make sure they're all nice and dead.
Yeah.
And see if there's anything useful that they had left behind, any sort of armors that could be repaired by Christian for anybody in the guild, any sort of weapons that he could also fix, stuff that he might take fancy in.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would say you can make an investigation check with advantage just because you're going to take your time. That would be the thing that would get resolved as you guys would be approaching. Adelstan would pause at the, you know, long valley-like walkway towards the opening of the cave, stop, set all the children down, and just kind of look back. New home?
Yes.
19.
Adelstan smushed many within. Not clean. Need help. Children should
stay outside.
Wait.
Yes.
Much smush.
All right.
Okay.
We will assist with the cleanup. Thank you for preparing this for us, friend.
Very welcome. The adults would stay and watch the kids, as I'm assuming you all would go in to assist. You said 19? Cool. I'll just tell you out there.
Yeah. You'd hear my horse and me kicking over a bunch of thuds and meaty slapping sounds and just me moving around a bunch of dead shit.
So I will tell you that as you're going through, like, again, they're all fucking dead. Like, it's, without going into, like, gory details, like, it's grotesque where it's, like, it's puddles. Because it was, you know, roughly 20 or so people. And for him, smush means smush. Like, it's full weight down with either foot or hand. They're pancaked and pretty fucking destroyed. Same thing for, like, a lot of their equipment. With the 19, I'll say that you would be able to find, you know, a couple of suits of, you know, chain shirts and, like, banded plate mail suits of armor that would be pretty damaged, but Christian could probably repair over the course of a few days. In terms of things of note outside of it, I'd said that there were like a couple of what would look like primitive, not actually boxes. I feel like boxes isn't conveying what I want. It would look almost like wicker baskets, but like really wide for, if you're going and plucking like a bountiful harvest worth of fruits. So they would be long rectangular wicker baskets that would look with a dark, oak textured like wood strips. You would see that they are filled with various herbs, which now you as a person being familiar through ether and other experiences definitely looks like they were grabbing medicinal herbs. I'll give the full list of what one's out of the list of herbs that I've got later. On top of that, as you're perusing through and like scouring through all the information and the various bits and bobs, you would see that there's definitively a set of alchemist supplies. So like an abacus, some potion vials. You would see that there's like long threaded glassware. You would see that in the area where there is the alchemist supplies, one orc that does specifically stand out from the others, he would be dressed in similar garb to what the shamans of your tribe would have been. So like longer, darker robes, would have had, banded jewelry of like little skull bones and things like that, kind of similar to what Ether wears. Yeah. But like, banded bracelets made of that, comprised with little charms and trinkets. You would recognize some of them as, warding magics and things like that. Same thing for like a little necklace, just with, like horsehair wrap. And then at the bottom of it would be the small skull of, roughly like yay big, like what you would recognize as probably a rabbit. In the alchemist supplies, you would notice as well that some of the herbs would have already been effectively like plucked and pruned and prepped for use. A lot of the ones that have been gathered in these bushels and big wicker baskets are not. They have just clearly been
They're just sort of
collected,
piled in,
yes.
sort of roughly sectioned.
Correct.
And none of them look affected.
Correct. None of them look infected.
They look they're green, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
With a 19 as well, I would say that because of the adorned clothing on the orc shaman, not that there would be a sigil or a symbol that you would be familiar with in regards to like, again, how we always know in classic D&D, there's no projections of like a deity being worshipped or anything like that. But as a person that has had encounters with this band of orc as well, you would see that there is, around the stitching of the robe, there's effectively like filigree, but it's not like how we think of, when you've got like golden stitch to like make it more adorned for an ornamental appearance in terms of quality or composition. It looks like there is filigree out over the collars for where, if it's a black robe, it would be just white stitching out. Almost like the necklace you got for Chell.
Mm-hmm.
Similar to that. So there would be the banding connecting point, twine tying it together. Out from the little circle holes, it would be white, thin strips, extending a few inches towards like the collarbones and the shoulders.
Yeah. Emanating out from where around the necklace
The clasp
is kind
would
of
be.
hanging.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
How are we going to clean this place? Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah, you guys would walk in and see a massacre. Vorst is standing there looking at the body of one of these, orcs that, again, is definitely in, like, a different garb. But you guys would see a massacre.
It might take a bit to clean this up.
It's a bit messy.
Yes.
We do got some nice stuff in here, though. I mean, most of it's broken, but there's a few things that Christian can fix up, and they can repurpose for the guild. Also a big old basket of, I think they're healing herbs. Flowers.
That is helpful.
Yeah, I'll take a look at the flowers.
Yeah.
See if there's anything of note.
I'll also point at the alchemist supplies.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of similar to the same stuff that Arthur had at his house.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a good thing though. I mean, like we do have Serafina with us, and I think she uses this kind of stuff to work too.
Yes, we can give that to her.
Looks like he started making something though, and they're just sort of piled up and rationed out. I don't know what they are.
Is there any sort of ventilation in this cave?
Nope.
Was there a fire? Like, did the orcs...
There was a campfire.
There was a campfire.
And you said everything's mostly puddles, right?
In terms of, like, yeah, the corpses and shit, yes. Like, smushed very, very accurately.
I think, sorry, that was all nice, Grim. I think our best bet may be to just go far away, toss them in the woods.
They're smushed. They're, like, decimated. I don't know if we can pick them up and move them. I think...
We could...
Iris may be able to clean their
Maybe
blood.
summon... You can't summon water or anything, right?
I mean, if we have a shovel, I can probably put a few hours in.
We don't have a few hours. There's a storm rolling in. We have to get this place cleaned up as quickly as we can.
I mean, can we have just Irlston just push them out?
Just push.
He's a big guy. I mean,
Maybe
We could pile them up in a corner and drop a bunch of rocks on them.
That is probably the best plan.
The smell would be an issue.
I have
mean,
cinnamon.
you bury them deep enough, it'll be fine.
cinnamon corpse.
I can make a pot.
Yes, if we bury them and put rocks on top of it, it will be fine. It will make the soil fertile in that corner.
Oh no.
Huh?
It
Oh,
will make the
no.
soil fertile in that corner. So we may attract to it as well.
Yeah, so Nesgrim has a better point. Maybe we should take them far away.
And I'll point at like one of like their broken down tents or something, and like just grab the fabric and we'll just throw pieces on it. We'll have
Drag it
Stott
away.
just.
Oh my god.
You want it to go away? He can make it go away.
Yes.
During this discussion, I would walk outside to
Ailstone.
Iris and any other magic users and ask, any of you know prestidigitation for cleaning up, because they're near the children. Into one of their minds.
Yeah. Yeah, Iris would look over and... Yes, I do, and a few of the others do, yes.
And to remind, I'll say, good, there's a lot of puddles.
Sure, I'll be right there, no problem. Yeah, no. She would step inside and see the massacre and just be like, oh, sweet God. The children are going to...
He killed all of the monsters in here.
It's horrible, yeah, but do you know what this is? And I'll like point at the alchemist supplies and the pile of shit that he has. That's weird, right?
Alchemy?
Yeah.
Weird? How? What?
Like, what was he doing?
Bless you.
Like he was making a potion?
Well, similar stuff, yes, but I mean, alchemy also deals with things outside of just potion craft.
Oh, yeah, like the sulfur stuff, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you know what he was attempting to make here with what's on the table?
Yeah, I mean, she would come over. You would still be going through it. I will tell you that it has Spellbane, Ashbark, Blood Purge, Felsoul Bark, Silkroot, and Terrazul.
Sorry, I got lost. Spellbane, Ashbark. I couldn't write that fast.
Blood Purge,
Blood Purge.
Felsoul Bark.
Fell Soul.
Don't like that.
It's fine.
Sounds good.
Silkroot.
Fell soul bark?
Felsoul, S-U-L.
Oh, S-U-L. Okay. Cool. That's better.
I thought soul.
Is it though?
Silkroot.
It might be derivative.
Terrazul, T-E-R-A-Z-U-L.
Thank you.
That's a demon name.
He's from Helltown.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course.
Felsoul,
Yeah, I mean,
that's
she would
funny.
stop and look at them. Don, I would say you would know most of these.
Okay.
Terrazul is a stimulant. Silkroot It's also a stimulant.
Making speed.
Spellbane is the one that can imprison magic.
It's grease lightning.
Felsoul. The wood can be burnt and inhaled as a numbing agent, and then the flowers are used to make perfumes. Blood purge.
Smell good, feel good, no magic.
Blood purge is the one that is from the marshes. It's dried and it's used to neutralize poisons.
Oh, wow.
And then ash bark, you don't know what it's used for.
Okay.
But it's a tree with snowflake-shaped white leaves. And the bark is an ashy color similar to your homeland.
So it's barky and ashy.
I know what most of these are used for. I'm not certain on the ash bark.
Ooh, no. Ash bark is often used in the construction of magical weapons.
Yeah, can I see that Felsoul real quick, right there?
Mm-hmm.
Felsoul? Yeah.
That one?
Yeah, that
Felsoul.
That's not good, right? Why would they have that?
I don't know.
Well, we have it now.
I don't really know. Some of these are healing. Some of these are used for stimulants, staying awake. Sometimes days on end.
So, trying to make like a magic weapon out of a person, I guess?
Maybe? I don't know. And Adelstan would just be kind of here just staring at, you guys gathering all the bodies onto the tents, and he would just kind of... They were very sleepy when smush. Not fast. Very slow.
They're sedated.
Adelstan had easy time smush.
Or maybe they were coming down off of it if they had it before.
Why they stopped here.
Yeah.
Maybe they ran out and needed to make more.
Yeah.
It's a cooking den.
Yeah,
Find the meth house.
Put these kids in the crack den and problems.
Adelstan just walks in, say my name.
Yeah, does the shaman have a W anywhere?
Blue
Or an
crystals
H?
everywhere.
If
So we're in a fedora.
if what we found are the materials, it stands to reason whatever they were attempting to do, or they were making like a drug.
Yeah.
Presumably.
Or really good perfume. Like, really good.
Cocaine in that bird? We'll awake.
Iris said the ash bark is used to make magic weapons.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Wonder
Can be.
what that's doing here.
This doesn't look like the place that there's no forge here. That is just one of the uses that I know for ash bark. I don't know of any others, but again, some things can be used for multiple ventures.
Wait, you said what's the one that imprisons magic?
Spellbane.
Spellbane. It doesn't leech it. Does it leech it into the plant?
So Spellbane is the one that on consumption it grants you resistance to magical effects.
Yeah, it's like a ward.
Mm-hmm.
What was the one that,
So
like...
then you ingest the ash bark, which will give you magical qualities, and then you retain it with the Spellbane? Maybe?
Possibly.
Or it's like you're trying to become a super soldier.
Yeah, you're resistant
They're trying to
other
make
people's magic
Captain
while
Oshuamp.
you... Yeah. What was the smelly stuff? You said it can be dried and used as a perfume?
The tree.
Yeah, it's also
Felsoul bark.
What does...
It's a flaky brown bark, cinnamon in color. It's a soft wood. It's gnarled and twisted. And that the wood can also be inhaled if burnt and used as a numbing agent.
Or perfume.
Can I smell it and see if it gives me any sense of nostalgia? Of like, oh yeah, this reminds me of a thing?
Yes.
Good old nostalgia sniff.
Well, that's a 14 on the die. I don't know what type of...
Yeah, I mean, it would have just been history. But no, I would say that that's absolutely a thing that your kitchen would have often smelled of delicious cinnamon.
I would say that.
And particularly good old Aunt would
Yeah.
have smelled very commonly of cinnamon.
Auntie Lala used to love cooking with this.
What did you call her?
Well, that was like a nickname I had for her growing up. She used to like sing me songs and...
Yeah, that's cute.
Adelstan loves lullabies.
Please, it's later. When I know you have one prepared, right?
Of course. Stone.
Somehow, it's like, yeah, obviously.
I'm stoned.
I'm stoned. I sing.
Got your rocks on lock.
Shit. Is that in public domain?
Probably not.
Probably not. Oh well.
But we sang, so it's fine.
Yeah. Adelstan just standing here.
Okay.
Can we get the corpses in the
So
tent?
that, an amount of time would pass, and you guys would gather and collect all the corpses into some of the.
I'd go through the shaman's
ransack
pockets too while we were chucking him. If he had pockets on it or not. Because it was just a robe.
It's
really.
a nice robe, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that he would have had like pants on underneath the robe. He's not fucking like just in a bathroom out here in the winter.
Whoa, come on, man.
Yeah, he's robe cocking.
Now I don't feel represented.
Yeah, sorry.
That's the only
Feel
way to
less
wear a
seen.
robe.
It's the only way to wear a robe, really.
You can't wear anything under it. It's the point.
That was a good thing. Give me one sec.
Robe cockpit is good.
Right?
Can
Yeah,
I
yeah.
collect some snow from outside to try and wash the floors?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, there's like 3 mages in here.
Prestidigitation works in like a 1 foot by 1 foot space.
Yeah, I mean,
there were
they're
like
casters.
4
seconds.
casters that I grabbed,
So
so you didn't have to do that.
I mean, it's
A
gonna
4
take
foot
them.
by 4 foot space is pretty big. I mean,
It's
that's
going to be a lot of dancing.
16 square feet, dog.
If they're 1 foot each, he's saying there's 4 casters.
Yeah, and they each do a foot.
That's
four.
no, that's not how that works. It'd
That's
be
4
1 foot by
total.
4 foot.
Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It'll multiply.
Yeah, no, it would just be either this way or this way.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
Or
be
it
this
would
way.
be a
Yeah.
2 foot cube or a 2 foot square.
It's smaller than this table.
Yeah.
It's clean. We love this place. Our house is a home.
It's going to be a lot of dancing.
Like they can start doing
robes.
that. I'm going to start trying to dilute some of the.
1 foot,
Blood.
2 foot, 3 foot, 4 foot, and then it would be 4 feet.
It's a square, but it's 2 by 2.
Not
Uh,
before
Do I have to
So,
look up
It would be
prestidigitation right
It
now?
would be 4 square feet. No, like it's definitely a foot. I'm just working out the geometry in my head of how that would work. But it would be a 2 by 2, so it'd be 2 feet by 2 feet. So it's only 4 square feet, which isn't that much. Much less than the 16 I thought it was.
I was gonna say you are very knowledgeable in so many things. Do not fight me on math.
No, math you're gonna win on almost every time. Yeah,
So they're doing 40 square feet a minute.
40 square feet a minute.
Because every 6 seconds, they can get
True.
4, 10 times. So
You would find a note order.
Ooh, a note.
Have a good day.
Have a good day at work, Dad.
Oh my goodness!
Sign baby orc.
You can stop typing, John. That's the note.
Have a good day at work, Dad.
If I get the sentient pumpkin,
I forgot about the sentient pumpkin.
How?
Yeah.
How? It was great.
Yeah, on one of the horses that Adelstan brought, there was a little baby saddle on the back.
Oh no!
why would you do that?
A little baby pumpkin.
Yeah.
The pumpkin was the pumpkin Taurus.
Good day.
The pumpkin was actually a bad guy.
My orc.
There you go.
I don't have a single spell that can help clean this place.
Nope, neither do I.
I'm also
but
gonna
you got these
get a
hands.
pot of water and break some cinnamon sticks into it.
Oh, it says
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the Orcish off the top of my head, but that's the common translation.
Do you
Yeah.
speak Orcish? You speak Orcish?
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Oh, when? Since when?
Huh?
Since when?
I've always known how to, like, we used to trade with them before they
Oh,
killed
yeah,
us.
that's fair.
Oh, right. Uh huh.
I found a piece of paper that says,
Uh huh. Talking in minds now. No Orcish. Anything else that's
Just
new?
speak in your mind in Orcish.
I'll just sigh and then return back in primordial. Fuck you.
I don't know if I know how to speak this way yet, so I'm not gonna do it. Have fun.
Okay.
It says something about Whitehall. The way to Whitehall is through the Dream Eye.
Is through the what?
The Dream Eye?
The Dream Eye.
High? Aye. Okay.
Is
To
that,
be
what,
fair, I also heard high. So.
is that what Ether has?
Sorry, I have a southern drawl.
Possibly.
Well, because like I wasn't sure if it's like dream walking, like.
You know, I mean, it could be. It could be the thing that he has, or it could be getting high with your friends in a tent.
Well, if it's I, it's probably that. But if it's high,
Well, I mean, you have eyes when you're dreaming, right?
sometimes.
You can see your dreams.
Fair. There might be a charge to that.
If you said Whitehall?
Yeah. Yeah, the way to Whitehall is through the dream eye.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe you see it in your sleep.
There's
Do you
lots
have
of.
eyes in your sleep?
No?
I don't think so either. I've been thinking about it. I don't think you have eyes.
Since
What was
it's
your
just a
question, sorry?
I was
construct?
gonna ask if there was like bed sheet, bed rolls and stuff in here.
I mean, there wasn't a wagon.
But the orcs didn't leave that behind. Okay.
Sorry.
Trying to find out.
I do think it's what Ether has.
The question is why do they know what it is?
I don't think they do. I think it's your eyes when you're sleeping, you know? How would they know about that?
It
Unless
looks
they've heard about it.
looks like the god's eyes, right? The formation of it.
What does?
So his celestial eye.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, similar kaleidoscope and
Crap.
prismatic color.
Yeah.
Hey, Christian.
Yeah. That's Ether.
Ether, do you mind showing him your eye?
Suppose.
It's a neat item.
Any idea how that would be made?
Nope. I mean, I make some magic stuff. That's definitely got weird dragon scale creation. But I don't work with dragon scales. There are not many dragons.
That's good.
Dragon scale.
Yeah.
I think
It's god's eye.
I think they were trying to get to Whitehall when he smushed them.
You need-
Like
you
they
need
may have been
beasts of
high
God.
already from the hut stuff. You know, trying to use their eyes. Sleep eyes. Dream eyes.
Well, it's not. It's not. It was Dream Eye, correct?
Dream eye.
Dream eye.
I don't know. One way to find out. I mean, we could roll this up and smoke it.
I don't.
No, I do not think we should do that.
Oh no! I mean, I would run it by Seraphina.
Got somewhere
first.
to be?
I'd run it by Seraphina first, anyway. I mean, she's.
Of course.
She would at least be able to tell me this was gonna kill me.
Sure.
What are you not cool?
Yeah.
All the cool kids smoke the drugs, but no, that is not true.
You listening up, Maribel?
Yes.
You read.
My way through womanhood.
Find drugs.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna cast Druidcraft and see how far out the storm is.
Oh, sure, for over the next 24 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like there's a very intense blizzard that rolls in roughly 2 to 3 hours once we hit the middle portions of the evening.
We have to clean faster.
I think we are making a good progress.
He throws it just up the mountain. Splat. Adelstan did it.
Thank you.
Thank you,
No more
Adelstan.
bones.
I'm gonna keep an eye out for a couple minutes for a
Make sure they
giant
don't
bird. What is that? What is that? That's so much worse.
I would say you would just see these, like, you know, again, he throws it, like, we'll say, you know, I don't know, like 30, 40 yards up the fucking mountain, and you would just see, like, you know, it is nighttime. I would say that from some of the, like, slopey ridges and ledges around the mountainside, you would just see kind of crawling out of these little, like, thin, almost vein-like, you know, crags in the mountainside. You would see these strange, long, white-haired, pale, naked, emaciated-looking, short creatures that just scurry over towards the bones, the bag of bones.
What does that mean, John?
Danny DeVito, dude. I'm the trash man.
I hate that.
How many of them? Does it look like 10 or
It's
so?
just all of them. I'm the trash.
Because you
Just
said
like
it's
one word,
about.
two words.
You
Two
said
words.
yards,
Two
so
both capitalized.
but that's like 3. Okay, so it's
Both
like
Yeah, so it's 120 feet.
Yeah.
You were gonna say
So
it was
you're saying
120 of them.
you're
Oh my
saying
God.
they're within fireball range.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna observe.
They're scavengers. Let them be scavengers.
There's 7 of them
That's enough.
at different points. So like it's not like all 7 crawl out of one hovel. There's like a hovel at different elevations, and they start climbing like vertically down towards on the edges, like the sides of the mountain.
That's not just regular scavengers.
Let them be scavengers.
Right? They're hungry. There's fresh meat. They smell it immediately. They're hunters.
Immediately.
They're so hungry. Yeah, you would just hear like, again, they're not that far away. It's like 120 to 150 feet. You just hear,
I would just turn to the other adults in the group and Adelstan. Should we worry about that? Deal with
Right now
it?
we're cleaning.
I mean, Adelstan would
Yeah,
look-
I would have stepped out of the.
Yeah, I mean, Adelstan would just kind of like poke his head out. Oh. Weird.
And then I turn to any of the other adults. That because I'm assuming some of them would have been outside with the children. Right?
Yeah, I mean, they'd be watching. They'd be obscuring the eyes of the children.
Should we do anything about this or?
He took out an entire orc tribe. Like, I don't.
I mean, you know, the other adults would look at me like, I don't know what the fuck those are. That's scary. I think we should hide. How many could there be? They ferried out of those holes like an ant colony.
Who's concerned about this?
I am.
Everyone. I would say all of the adults in the area would just be like, what the fuck are those things?
Me.
Yeah, also Felix. Like, all of them would be looking up in horror. Again, like, pale, what, like, they would be blending in with the snow as it's, like, starting to get heavier.
I hate that.
I know.
Are they like weird, like
Inside.
inside,
Think,
long, like rat things?
no,
Or-
think kind of like Golem.
Oh, they're mildly humanoid.
Yeah, they're humanoid, like, they would look like
Gangly,
dwarf,
yeah.
gangly, elongated, emaciated dwarves.
Elongated.
Yeah, longer
Kind of like
limbs.
how Sabrina looked with the.
I thought
Really
they
for
were like a
Atlas.
creature.
No.
I mean, they're a creature by my understanding. You know,
Wrong.
What, I write
but
down
there's
wrong?
7 of them just like that crawled out and descended vertically. Like again, like they went upside down and crawled down the sides of the mountains, clearly using their hands and like toes and things like that for their climbing abilities, like spider climbing.
We have a Smeagol situation.
Have I ever seen anything like this in my travels?
No.
Oh,
You
okay.
didn't go to the mountains often.
Not frequently, but
No.
okay.
I mean,
This is actually the
they might
hallucinogenic
have seen you,
properties
but
of
you've
being
not
what
seen
is-
that.
Okay, okay, sure,
Just
sure,
just
Yeah.
for sake of saying, have I seen anything like this?
Nope.
Okay.
They're friends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're just.
Well,
Yeah. Do we want to deal with that now or later?
well, they're fed, so
I don't know. This is there could be thousands of them.
I don't think we should call them here.
Yeah.
just get inside. Shh.
It seems like they do not wish to extend far outside of their little hovels. This cave was full of meat in the time when Adelstan was gone, and they did not come down here.
Fresh meat.
For all
Bloody
we know,
fresh
he
meat.
scared them off.
You'll scare them off again.
Okay.
Adelstan have club.
Where did you get that?
How big is it?
It's a tree.
It is. It's like a tree trunk. Adelstan left here in cave, I guess, for continuity purposes. Had to carry horses. Adelstan doesn't have belt when we have cockcloth. You can't hide club in cockcloth.
What?
That's unrealistic.
Yep. Is it the same one that
Is this your first
Ritora
time
made
meeting
him?
Adelstan?
No, I've met him before,
Okay.
but briefly. It was only
He
like
was
3
in a
episodes
tree.
in. Yeah.
So Adelstan
You-
left
you met his
club in
face.
hole.
Yeah.
You had to do that, really? You could not.
Nope.
Shit. Are you got first watch?
Edelstan could go clubbing.
This guy likes to party. Drugs.
Do you want
He's
some
got a
company?
club.
Sure.
Please, could you put me on your shoulder?
A piece.
Yep. All right, I'll go with Edelstan if everybody wants to keep cleaning.
You guys clean Edelstan Club strange snow monsters.
Are we sure we want to aggravate them?
Yeah, I'd say leave them be.
I don't think
They're
so.
not hurting us. Let them eat.
Yeah.
You risk bringing them here.
And by them eating the bones, it doesn't create widow's wail. So,
And
win-win.
I would look at any of the adults in the guild, like, do any of you know, like, a warding spell or anything for the door?
Yeah, I mean...
It's like, if we can close the entrance...
Yeah, I mean, Iris would look at me like, I know how to cast alarm. We'll know when they're here. And I'll hear, like, a screaming, like, oh, God!
And
Run!
then
then you
Needle
alarm
Stomp can go clubbing.
And then Felix will stop yelling any longer?
Are there any?
Yes.
Are there like any large boulders outside?
Edelstan could
I
make
wake
boulder.
up.
Hit mountain with hammer.
Maybe we could block
Rip.
the door while we're sleeping.
Yes, Edelstan could make enormous boulder to guard cave entrance and then hopefully not die in sleep. That's the
First thing I thought of immediately, I was like, you'll just
Edelstan
die.
have heart attack from too much cocaine.
God, how much cocaine?
There was
kill a
another
giant.
3 parts of
Uh-huh.
one of the stimulants.
Yeah.
The north is not
That-
covered in
that's
snow.
why he was running here. Oh my god! Edelstan's gonna run this out of his system.
I gotta sweat it out.
That's not snow.
Oh, man.
Good blizzard.
Good mountain. Right?
I could shape stone if in the event that did occur. We would not be trapped.
Edelstan will get tools and make stone door.
Thank you.
Yes, I think. Thank you. That's.
He just punches the side of the cavern. No! Bam! And he just picks up like a big splintered shard of stone. Edelstan have tool now. Edelstan make door.
Wonderful.
He just like walks out of the cave and you just hear smash, smash, smash.
Yeah, do I fly off of his shoulder? Or?
I mean, yeah, I would say like he realizes when he goes to smash with 2 ends. Oh, Felix is still here. Sorry. Smash, smash. You just see him stabbing the mountainside and just like enormous chunks.
Do any of them scatter? Like do I see any more?
Ooh,
Like
yeah, I would say that you would see after the like first reverberating heavy dense smack from him striking the mountainside, it sends like tremors. I can see if there's an avalanche.
it's like this guy moves mountains,
Yeah.
right? So
Oh boy. Yeah, you would hear the bonk and then you would see the ripple in the like edges of the snow, the surface of the snow as it ripples up the mountain, and you would start to see like, you know, lightning style jagged cracks form in the snow high up on the mountain, and Edelstan just
Everyone in.
avalanche,
Edelstan might cause big snow.
avalanche.
Yeah.
Sorry. And you would just hear the like as some of the snow would crack and start to obviously cascade down in a torrential flood-like fucking avalanche of
Just roaring down the mountain.
yeah, literally roaring, and you would hear and see before Edelstan rushes inside like 4 of the creatures that had been feasting on the bones. They would be behind like a little spire within the mountainside, like a little peak. You would just see them all like just hop up, like nails embedded into the stone surface.
I hate that.
And just look out. And again, like wild, like Einstein white fucking hair, like mid to like low shoulder, like obviously flowing down long over them. Sunken but enormous fucking eyes, flat nose, very small thin mouth, but like as it opens, you would just see like razor sharp little fucking pointed teeth.
all right.
Just long fucking nails, just gritted. Again, like kind of rodent like to a degree.
Okay.
But just like grit, look up and just look down at you and just
Like weird fairy thing.
kinda, yeah. And then snow over them, just whoosh, wipe and just done shit. Duck inside. And you just see snow just fill the fucking area behind you guys. Slightly start to like fall and cascade in. And Edelstan would go, Problem solved.
I was thinking the same thing.
Smush with snow.
Mm.
Big brain. We're not there.
Ended on a big brain.
Friends, thank you very much for watching tonight. I hope you enjoyed the episode. We had one follow member, Uman. Thank you very much. We appreciate it very much. And Vapor, thank you for the resub, and DJ, thank you for the resub.
You're welcome.
We will be live next Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and Friday, I'm not sure. So we'll keep you posted. But yeah, thank you guys very much, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Elevators aren't real.
Bye, everyone.